very much in favor of the counting of points.
Does it work for you? No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite figure skating podcast, where we talk about everything that makes us kiss. I always mess up
Chris.
introducing
Old
the
Chris
podcast.
Kringle. Make us Chris, make us cry.
We just had this conversation, everyone, where Ashley says, I feel like you haven't done an intro in a while. And I said, because I always mess it up, which my negative thinking has come to life.
Well, you're putting it out into the universe, Sarah.
You're right. I did put it out in the universe, and I regret that. Okay, let's try again. Welcome back to the run-through and Women's Lore Part 3, which
Part 3.
Adam Rippon is going to take us through Part 3 of the Women's Lore.
I'm nervous, Adam.
I'm not Olympic champion Sarah Hughes, here with Ashley Wagner, my fellow listener.
Okay, here's the thing. I will be learning. I lived it, and I learned nothing.
But you know what? I think that because you'll be involved in this part of the lore that...
Oh, I'm so excited for Ashley lore.
Oh, yeah. There are probably some things that you didn't even know were going on because you were focusing on your own stuff.
I love that you're going to give me the grace of saying that I was focusing on my own stuff.
Or that you were focused at all.
I'm a fucking idiot. But like, that's me.
She was focused on something.
You were.
Something.
So should we pick up?
Pickle. Should we pick up?
Sarah, your impediment is contagious.
Contagious.
My impediment inability to do introductions.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let's pick up where we left off. Salt Lake City, Sarah Hughes is the surprise Olympic champion.
Yeah, she is.
Yes, she is.
Congrats,
Sarah.
Thank you.
You were great. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about the second, the third, and the fourth place women from the Salt Lake Games. So let's start with Michelle Kwan. So in this next season, Michelle Kwan is sort of doing it on her own terms. She's doing like... At the end of Michelle's career, she was only doing a few select events. So she was doing Skate America, Nationals, Worlds, and maybe some like high-paying do your free skate for the Carrie Lotion Classic events.
Wait, she sounds like me.
Yeah.
Diva I love.
Yes.
No, don't waste your time.
No.
Okay.
And in this off season, as she's getting ready for the post-Olympic season, she starts to skate with this California-based coach. His name is Scott Williams, and he's this like young, handsome guy. And I was reading an article, and people were calling him, and this is based on his looks only, Mel Gibson on ice.
Wait, what?
What?
He kind of looks like Mel Gibson.
His name is
Scott Williams.
Scott
Okay.
Williams.
Okay. That is the end of that, okay? So he's just this young coach, and he's working with Michelle. Now, in this season, and when we see
Oh my God.
I know, he does,
Sorry.
right?
He does.
Yeah. Mel Gibson on ice. So when we see Michelle skate in this 2002-2003 season, it's just like she has a freedom to her. And there's a little bit of like, maybe it was helpful to have a coach, right? Because
Yeah. Remember,
Maybe.
she was going without one
yes,
pre-Olympic.
and
No, fired Frank Carroll almost mid-season.
Olympic season.
yeah, Olympic season. So she's skating with Scott Williams, and she just seems like solid and free, and she has this amazing Nationals free skate, and then she has maybe I keep saying this after every Michelle Kwan skate, like a classic, iconic Michelle Kwan moment. But her fifth world title in 2003 in Washington, D.C. is like one for the ages. It's an amazing moment. And Ashley Wagner was
A sweeper, but get this. I got food poisoning. I was violently ill the day that I was supposed to sweep the women's event, and I didn't ever step on world ice as a sweeper.
No.
Paid off.
Well,
Where did you get the food poisoning? I want to file for damages.
Like Walt Whitman Middle School.
you got it at
I
Walt
think they're probably
Whitman
like
Middle School.
pizza bagels that day. I remember being like green, and my mom was like, "You can't go," and I was like, "Oh, I'm going." And then I think she called one of the coaches, and the coaches was like, "Absolutely not. We're not going to have a little girl puke on the ice that Michelle Kwan is skating on. You are not allowed in the building."
That's right. I mean, that was the correct call.
Yeah, that was
It was
the
the right
call.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was devastated.
So while Michelle Kwan was winning her 5th world title, Ashley was throwing up
Puking.
bagel bites from Walt Whitman High School.
Middle school.
Middle school, excuse me. Michelle Kwan, after this season, decides that she's not giving anybody a clear answer on if she's going to skate through Torino. But she has, like, for the next few years, is doing this, like, very select amount of events. The Skate America, the Nationals, the World Championships, just a few times a year. But after her 5th world title, she decides that she's going to skate with a new coach. And this coach is this young Armenian coach who also trained skaters in Lake Arrowhead, where she was training with Frank Carroll for many years, and his name is Raphael Artunian.
Hello.
So this is Raphael's first entrance into the women's lore.
Could you imagine? It's been downhill for him since then. You start
To
with
start in
Michelle
the lore
Kwan.
with Michelle Kwan.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna keep on talking about him, and to wrap up, I mean, his career is not wrapped up, but like his last
It's
senior
over.
lady,
R.I.P.
not Michelle
He's
Kwan.
still coaching in California. Ashley's like, nah, it was a great career.
Yeah.
He had a good go.
Yeah. So Raphael was based in Lake Arrowhead at this time, and Michelle Kwan, could see the way that he was coaching, and he was helping her here and there, and she decides to make him her full-time coach heading into the 03-04 season. And so she'll skate with Raphael all the way through for the next few seasons.
It's so funny to me to imagine Raphael putting Michelle on the ice saying, "Come on, buddy."
Oh, yeah, which he probably was.
He probably did. And let me tell you, and I don't know if he ever did this with Adam, but he would always to me be like, "Michelle was the best student I ever had."
Oh, yeah.
And would always just, whenever I was not being a good student in his eyes, he'd be like, "Michelle Kwan."
Right.
So,
and what do you say to
imagine-
that?
Well, it's funny
You're
that
like,
he would
well,
think that would
shit.
work, because it's not like you went around thinking you were better than Michelle Kwan.
I actively went around thinking I wasn't as good as Michelle
That's what I'm
Kwan.
saying.
Right.
Like, every skater goes around knowing they're not as good as Michelle Kwan.
Right. I'm like, thank you for feeding into my internal
Like,
dialogue, I
but
guess.
that's not going to change anything about how I feel right now, because I already knew she was better than me.
Right, this isn't motivational.
Why would you
This
bring that up?
actually is
It's just fact-based.
It's
Right.
literally just a fact.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting about when you think about Michelle Kwan and Raphael working is that, and we'll get to this in a second, there has been a real divide of what is Russian technique and what is Russian coaching philosophy versus an American technique and an American coaching philosophy. And for Raphael, I mean, Frank Carroll's one of the greatest figure skating coaches of all time. And Raphael could see in Lake Arrowhead the way that Frank was teaching Michelle. And when he was working with Michelle, he could see the way that Michelle would instinctually train herself for these events and the things that she set up for herself as different challenges and milestones to prepare. And I think that for Raphael, we see it eventually of like how he took what he knows from his like Russian background with the American training style, integrating them for the first time. And so this is when we really see like a cross between
Like a hybrid.
Yes, where like
Yeah.
two worlds are kind of coming together. This is still in the infancy stages of this, and I think Raphael really like perfects this as his like coaching career goes on. But you know, like you said, it's like, how do you start with Michelle Kwan? Like,
Right. You're starting with the greatest skater of all time.
this is not the big drama that we're going to talk about at first. The big thing is that Sasha Cohen has decided that she's going to leave her long-term coach, John Nix. And she is going to move to the East Coast to Connecticut and start working with Tatiana Tarasova.
I really forgot that she did this.
Well, this is a huge thing.
Well, I remember this from the men's lore because isn't Sasha Cohen the way that Johnny Weir gets in touch with Tatiana Tarasova also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting like background to this because Sasha Cohen has like an Eastern European background. And so she can speak a little Russian. And so there is this like connection between like her and Tarasova in that way. But this is the first time we've ever had a high-profile American single skater work with a high-profile Russian singles coach. Sometimes the Russian style in single skating at this time can be seen as like very over the top or avant-garde. Not even at this time. It still is. It can be very theatrical. So there's a lot of buzz and curiosity of what will this Sasha Cohen, Tatiana Tarasova partnership look like? Because we've known since we've seen her on the scene, I mean, her first major international competition is the Olympics, but we've known ever since that, I mean, if Michelle Kwan is, you know, still wondering about what she's going to do, all eyes are on Sasha Cohen because she could potentially be the next Olympic champion in 2006.
And Sasha finished in what place in Salt Lake City?
Fourth.
Right.
Right off the podium.
She was right there. Yeah.
Yes. And so in this next season, we see a glimpse of the Sasha Cohen that we think that we deserve, right? We see a glimpse of that. And she skates all the way through the season. She wins the Grand Prix final, but she loses to Michelle Kwan at the national championships, and she's off of the podium at the 2003 World Championships. And so we're still waiting for Sasha Cohen to like pull it all together because she has this reputation of always making a mistake, especially in the free skate. In the short program, she's known to just nail it. She can do a solid short program. But the free skate is like, if Sasha's able to pull it together, I don't know if anybody can beat her. Like, she's phenomenal. She hits positions people can't hit. She has a presence on the ice that's undeniable. It's just, if Sasha Cohen can pull it together, then like no one is safe.
And by pull it together, you just mean do two clean programs at the same competition.
Yes. We see that she's still struggling with the inconsistencies with Tarasova. And so as we get into the next season and we're getting closer to when Michelle Kwan is going to make her nationals, debut again in 2004, Sasha makes this huge announcement that this like collaboration between her and Tarasova is now over. And she's leaving Tarasova and she is going to start working with Robin Wagner, who was the coach of Sarah Hughes.
Okay.
Now, Sarah Hughes at this point has not announced a retirement. And so there's a lot of questions of like, did Robin reach out to Sarah? Did she let her know? From what I remember at the time, it was Robin saying that she reached out to Sarah. She didn't hear anything. And she just said that she was going to start taking on Sasha Cohen. But, this is like Sarah Hughes was just at the 2003 World Championships.
Yeah.
So this is quick. And it's just a few weeks before the national championships. So Sasha Cohen shows up to the national championships in 2004 after having like these 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons with Tarasova. She shows up to the national championship. She's the silver medalist. And we are just very curious of like, what will this relationship look like? And Robin is doing these interviews and she's like, I think that we have a lot of work to do and I'm really excited for the off season so that we can do that work, but we're going to do everything we can to be as prepared as possible for the World Championships. So Michelle Kwan wins her 8th national title in 2004.
It's crazy.
Now,
Well on her way to 15.
well on her way to her 15 national titles.
That's a joke, everyone.
So,
For those of you who haven't been here.
it's from an early episode of Trivia. So, Tarasova has this open spot in her camp. And at this time, the Japanese are really starting to have this extremely talented group of skaters coming up. But I think it's very difficult for them to find the proper ice time that they need to train. It's a very common theme right now that if there's a Japanese skater coming up, that they share stories of how they're on the ice during public skates, that they're on the ice with like 30 or 40 other people at the same time. And so what ends up happening is that once a Japanese skater gets to a certain level, it's very common at this point that they will move to North America to work with a North American coach. And we're starting to see this. So there's a Japanese skater. Her name is Shizuka Arakawa. And she's been training in Michigan with Richard Callahan, who coached Tara Lipinski to Olympic gold.
Right.
Now, after the news breaks of Sasha Cohen leaving Tatiana Tarasova, Shizuka Arakawa capitalizes on this. And she very closely leaves Michigan to start training in Connecticut with Tatiana Tarasova. And there's a lot of buzz around this because it was, at this point, we really feel like, okay, this world's medal could be Sasha Cohen's in 2004. Can she finally be on the podium? Can she finally win a world title? Can she finally win a national title? So all eyes are on what is Sasha Cohen going to do. And with that was the attention of her leaving Tarasova. So now there's a lot of attention on what is Shizuka Arakawa going to look like? Because Sasha Cohen had this transformation and she was like a different athlete and the programs were a bit different. And what is this going to look like? Let's move on to the World Championships in 2004. Now that we've said a little bit of what's going on, the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go and there's a qualifying round at this World Championships. Sasha Cohen wins her qualifying round. Shizuka Arakawa, 7 clean triple jumps, wins her qualifying round, defeats reigning world champion Michelle Kwan.
Okay.
So now we have Sasha Cohen and Shizuka Arakawa are now the winners of the qualifying rounds. We go to the short program. Sasha Cohen skates amazing. She skates this absolutely incredible short program, and she wins the short program.
What is she skating to?
Malagueña.
Thank you.
And it's phenomenal.
I can see this costume.
Yeah,
perfectly
the yellow dress,
The yellow?
black details.
Oh my God.
She looks
So
amazing,
good.
and she's skating phenomenally. Michelle Kwan skates the same short program she skated at the last World Championships that I'll remind you, she's the reigning world champion coming into this event. And she skates this just masterful short program. It's amazing. And she's so into it. It's The Feeling Begins by Peter Gabriel. It's just like, oh my God. And Dick Button even comments during the middle of her spiral sequence where he's like, this is amazing. And then they catch a glimpse of her face and he goes, oh my. Like he's so cannot believe the way that she's performing to this music. Like it's, oh my God, it's incredible. And she ends her program and instead of ending to a stop, she ends and is growing. The arms keep stretching out and stretching out. And it's very impactful. She gets off the ice and the scores come in and they're very oddly low. Michelle Kwan's thumbs down in the kiss and cry. What's going on? Well, the judges decided to give her a deduction, a time deduction, because she never ended frozen solid in her short program finals.
Oh my God. What?
I mean, it's just a reason. It's like a fake reason, right?
Yes, totally.
It's a fake reason. So she gets this deduction, which is why the rule eventually changes to before it was like your free skate was 4 minutes plus or minus 10 seconds, right? And the short program was 2 minutes, 40 seconds. That was it. And so this Michelle Kwan issue, it's the only thing anybody can talk about. We're like, yeah, Sasha Cohen, great job in the short program. But did you know that Michelle Kwan had a time deduction?
By the way, those are still the lengths of the programs.
250 is the short program.
Well, you can do 240, though. It's like plus or minus 10.
You couldn't do longer than 240 for the short. 240 was your max.
Got it.
You could have a senior women's short program that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
If you can get through it that quick.
My God, that would be a sprint. That's insane.
I mean, these programs are 235, right? There's some seconds to breathe.
Yeah.
So, yes, they were that short.
Wow.
So it's chaos. Like, what's going on? Michelle Kwan finds herself in 4th place. It's now she's going to need help if she wants to win a world title, but nobody's going to give her that help. As the free skates go on, Shizuka Arakawa goes out and she's out of this world. Another clean free skate. It's jaw-dropping. She's always had this talent and this potential, but there's just these little tweaks that she's done with Tarasova and the camp in Connecticut. These little tweaks have just made a world of difference. She looks like a completely different athlete. And she's only been working with Tarasova a little over 3 weeks at this point. So it's just 3.5 weeks of work of changing the programs here and there, adding a few of like Shizuka's iconic movements of like the Ina Bauer with the head all the way down by the ankles. Like, it's just a few little things here and there that have made a world of difference, that this girl is now a woman fighting for a world title. We are now having to wait to see what is Sasha Cohen going to do, because Sasha Cohen, the door is still open. There's still an absolute chance for Sasha Cohen to come away with this world title. Sasha Cohen goes out and she starts all right. It's a little shaky, but as she gets going, she seems to be like getting warmed up and more warmed up into the program. And then in the middle of her Swan Lake program on the soft music, she goes up for a sow cow, pops it, spell, broken. There's no way that this is beating Arakawa. She gets off of the ice and she gets her scores. They're very good, very strong, but she goes behind Shizuka Arakawa with the last skater, Michelle Kwan. Michelle Kwan gets on the ice and she looks focused. She looks mad as hell. But before she has any say in what happens next, some streaker runs down from the middle of the audience, takes his shirt off, and has like some like letters written across his chest and is like on the ice.
What were the letters?
It was some German gibberish.
Okay.
Entschuldigen Sie bitte?
Yeah.
That's what it said.
Bobby Weld. Ich bin Bobby Feld. Yes, that's exactly what it said, Ashley. Thank you.
No problem.
And so she gets off of the ice immediately. They apprehend the streaker and she gets back on and she delivers this strong program. She finds herself on the world's podium. She gets the bronze medal. Michelle Kwan has not been off the world's podium since she's been on it for the first time in 1996. You might be asking, okay, now what happened with Irina Slutskaya? Like, where is she? As we go on, this is what's going on with Irina. So before the 2003 World Championships, Irina Slutskaya finds out that her mother needs a kidney transplant. So her mother is sick. And this weighs a lot on her. It's very emotional. So she decides that she's not going to go to the World Championships in 2003. And Irina speaks like very good English. So the interviews that she gives about this and when she talks about her mom are like very heartfelt. Of that, you know, she says things like, I know that we're two people, but we're like one soul.
Aww.
And so this really is like such a difficult time for her. It actually only gets more difficult because she starts to have these like health complications. and she's starting to like retain a lot of water and be very swollen, to the point where she goes to the doctor for a checkup, and they do some tests on her, and the doctor comes back to her and he's like, you have a very large heart. And she says, I know, I'm a sportsman. And the doctor's like, no, this isn't normal. So they run some more tests, and she was having this buildup of fluid in her body, and it was this buildup of fluid around her heart. She is in the hospital for like 2 months, like bedridden, and they drain a liter of fluid from around the heart.
Whoa.
And so she's having like a liter. So she's having like a quart.
A quart.
Yes. Which is
A liter.
4 of those would be a liter.
It's a lot, regardless.
It's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot. I mean, it's a lot.
And I'm sitting here not knowing how much either is. So
So then she starts to get back into training, and then one day she's just like, my legs are sore and they're starting to get swollen. She wakes up and they're all bruised. So she finally gets diagnosed with vasculitis, which is like the inflammation of the blood vessels. And she gets put on a steroid, prednisone. And so this is to, help with the inflammation. And she is able to compete and skate at the 2004 World Championships, but she's like somewhere in the top 10. But now that she's sort of like gotten her health under control, she starts to get ready. And 2004 is the last World Championships that we have where it's the 6.0 scoring system.
right. ISU's new system kicks in 2005.
Yes. And as this season gets started, Irina Slutskaya has seemed to absolutely master it. She's just has the formula. Like, people are still figuring out how to get the levels and what's counting and how do you make sure you get a level 4 and how do you outsmart the system? Like, how do you maximize the number of points that you're going to get?
And she's like, hold my prednisone.
Hold my
I'll show
prednisone.
you.
I'm going to get into a Bielman position about 55 times in each program, and I'll show you how it's done.
Oh, I miss the early days of that system.
Now,
I miss those levels.
it's absolutely like nightmarish to see these programs now because they had 4 spins, 7, 8 jumps, like so much stuff was jam-packed into these things that it's
right.
like
The time hasn't changed for the women's event. We still have a program with a 4:10 time limit, and they were squeezing so much stuff into it.
yeah, it's like I don't even know how they did it. But in this
I couldn't
season,
imagine another spin.
a 4th spin. I have no idea how they did that. That's crazy.
Where would I touch my face and stand still?
Where
I
would
wouldn't
you
have
stand?
time for that.
Yeah, and not move.
And not move.
So in this season, like, she's going undefeated, and the World Championships are going to be in Moscow. All eyes are on Irina. She's been undefeated, Grand Prix final win. She's won her 6th European title. She's like tied the record with Katarina Witt and Sonja Henie. She's in it. And at this World Championships, she has a great short program, but the free skate is like one of the most joyful, exuberant skates I've ever seen in my life. The roof is going to blow off the building. She has the performance of her career at this World Championships in 2005. And it's like, holy shit. Irina Slutskaya is back, better than ever, and she's the favorite for the gold medal in Torino.
Wow. I love a home worlds moment.
Oh, God. It's
So good.
It's so, like, it's amazing to watch this skate because she really truly has like mastered the code of points to the point where she does an extra jump. Like, she does 3 triple loops. She does a triple Lutz triple loop, a triple loop, and another triple loop at the end. So one of them doesn't even count. So she has a whole jump missing, and she still easily wins this event.
Wow.
It was just, and it works because like we're grading each element as it comes. So she has huge jumps, big GOE. She has fast spins in good positions, high GOE. And so it's working in her favor. what's happening underneath her on this podium? Well, on this podium, Sasha Cohen repeats as the silver medalist. Now, you might be wondering, how is that partnership with Robin Wagner going? I'll tell you, not well.
Not well.
After the 2004 World Championships, Sasha Cohen and the fleet of women from the World Championships go to the Marshals Classic, right? Where they're going to skate just a free program. And Sasha Cohen decides that at this competition, she's going to skate the best free skate of her career.
Because why not skate that?
Because
For Marshals.
when you
why
only
not?
got one program to do.
She does a spick and span, sparkly clean, absolutely perfect, no step wrong free skate. It's jaw-dropping.
Wait, and what time in the season is this?
After Worlds.
Yeah, of course. Great.
And so after this...
Her world team trophy skate.
Yes.
I mean...
Now, if you ever want to see, like, what does a clean Sasha Cohen free skate look like? It's this one. Like, go and find this one. It's worth the watch, but it's incredibly frustrating to see.
Yeah, I bet.
So after this, and as we head into the next season, Robin and Sasha are not seeing eye to eye on the way that they should be training.
The girls are fighting.
Oh, say more. The girls are fighting.
So this was also the issue with Tatiana Tarasova. That
Oh, shit.
Sasha was not training the way that Tatiana wished that she would be training.
So what was Sasha doing?
Sasha was very well known to be very headstrong and want to do things her own way.
Love it.
What does that mean?
Immediately on her side.
Now,
yeah.
we'll never know what it means, but I'll give you a hint of I'll tell you how we were hinted and what it might mean.
Sounds like it doesn't include full run-throughs.
Well, I think that's exactly it, because they ask Robin Wagner, what's the deal? And Robin says that Sasha just was not in the shape that we agreed that she would be on when we started working together.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, we weren't seeing eye to eye of how someone should train if they want to be an Olympic champion.
Yeah,
Bring
she's being
back
lazy.
coaches actively shit-talking their students.
Yeah.
My God.
That's
Don't
she's
worry,
being
there'll
lazy.
be a few
That's
of them here. Yes.
That's horrifying.
Well,
As
then
a
they go-
student, I would feel so awful if my coach said that.
Well, then
That's awful.
they interview John Nix, because she goes back to John Nix.
and he's like, "It's true."
no, he goes, no, she's always done what I asked her to do.
That's even better.
But, you can imagine, this is, a second high-profile coach who has said something along the lines of she trains the way that she wants to train. So you can imagine that there was expectations that weren't being met, possibly, right? So, but we don't know. But that's they're both saying the same thing.
It sounds very much like she just didn't want to do the amount of run-throughs they wanted her to do.
But Sasha Cohen, in the lead up to the 2005 World Championships, loses again to Michelle Kwan at the national championships, where Michelle Kwan wins her 9th national title. But again, she defeats Michelle Kwan at the world championship. So now it's a theme of the international judges are favoring Sasha Cohen over a Michelle Kwan. Now, what is Michelle Kwan doing? At this point in time, after the 2003 World Championships, Michelle Kwan is basically doing the same program to different music. She's kind of just doing what she has to do to get it done. But she's not doing, it's like she has a different opening pose, and then every step, the same amount of crossovers, the same amount of everything.
It's amazing.
No choreography. None. And this is Michelle Kwan, because she's just a beautiful, pleasant skater, so she skates to whatever she wants. But the programs are
she's
basically
getting a
the
huge
same.
appearance fee to just go to Skate America once a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are not the masterpieces of Lori Nickel. What is she doing? She's doing all her technical elements, and then she's having Nikolai Morozov choreograph a step sequence for her at the end, which is, you're like, okay, Michelle, I forgive you, because the step sequence eats all the time.
Right.
But that's what she's doing. So she's not really reinventing herself at this time. She's just, I think, basically trying
Girl's
to see
getting her bag.
Yes, and see hey, can I even make it physically to Torino? Because she still, again, is not being able to give us a clear answer to like what that is.
Well, and like she's getting no choreo and winning the national title every year and won a world title. It's like, why not?
And so like in this, she's, skates to Aranjuez for 2003. 2004, Tosca, same program, same choreography. 2005, Bolero, same choreography.
You know what? I'm going to blame Michelle Kwan for being the main reason why I kind of think that Tosca and Bolero are the same pieces of music.
That's
because you watched her do identical choreo to them.
Because she's done identical programs to them. And so in my mind, I'm like, interchangeable.
Well,
It's
I
the
remember
same.
when she skated to Bolero, it was a big deal because Christopher Dean was doing the choreography. And then she starts and you're like, this is the choreography to Aranjuez, Michelle.
Right. You're like, wait, Chris.
And I'm saying,
were you
no,
in the room.
it's the choreography to Tosca.
And then she's going, no, this is Bolero, you guys. You guys.
Christopher Dean did this.
Now, the thing is that, like I said, she's doing like limited and select events. So this is one of the first times, if not the first time, Michelle Kwan is competing under the new judging system. So she has not worked out all of the bugs. She has not worked out all of the kinks. And at this 2005 World Championships, it's the first time she's knocked off of the podium.
Oh my God.
So she's off of the podium.
This is aspirational. This is like the equivalent of like a corporate executive who doesn't know how to use PowerPoint. And you're just like, I'm not going to learn.
I mean,
Yes.
yes.
You're like, I'm good,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to learn
But
it.
also, those are the people where you're like, you're allowed to do this.
Yeah.
She's allowed, 9 national titles. I think that I'd be doing the same
15
program.
national titles.
Yeah, like she doesn't need to learn the judging system.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's beneath her.
I don't think the judges
Ashley
wanted
never
her
did.
to learn it either. I never did.
She's knocked off the podium by a young teenager who goes by the
Who is
name
it?
of Carolina Kostner.
Oh my God. Well, if you're going
Ooh.
to get knocked off a podium, at least it's by the world's kindest person.
And one of its most beautiful skaters.
Oh my God.
Now, this is like very interesting because the Olympics are in Italy
Right.
next year. So now there's an Italian in the mix. So now it's very like, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's go to Shizuka for a second. Shizuka was struggling this season, and she was saying that she struggled to find the motivation. I mean, I can imagine of like you win that world title and like how do you even find the motivation to continue? Like what's inspiring you? And she does not place well at this World Championships, but she says that in this moment, this is when she decides, no, I'm definitely going to try to qualify for the 2006 Olympics. I can't end my career like this. She's been skating with Tatiana Tarasova for this like period of time. I mentioned before Nikolai Morozov, and we talked about him in the men's lore. We talked about him in the dance lore. But if we talk about the men's lore for a second, Tatiana Tarasova says that in the lead up to the 2002 Olympics that she was training 2 people. And she says, the first one I was training Alexei Agudin to be the best in the world. And the second person she said she was training was I was training Nikolai Morozov to be the best coach in the world. And so we mentioned that Nikolai was an ice dancer, and he was a former partner of Tatiana Navka, who goes on to win the 2006 Olympics. Nikolai skates with another partner, but then like decides that it's time to retire. And in this time of like when he retires, his father passes away, and he's just going through a very hard time. But before he decides what he's going to do next, he decides that he's going to get a big bouquet of flowers, find Tatiana Tarasova, and thank her for everything that he's done for her and for in his career. And in this meeting, she kind of offers him the opportunity of a lifetime, and she's like, I want you to come work for me and my team. And right away, she has him work with Alexei Agudin on his programs. And, you know, like, Nikolai's like hungry and excited, and he's young. And so this is, I think, like why the response to the Yaguden programs was like so overwhelming. This is why like a lot of American skaters start to get programs by Nikolai Morozov, Sasha Cohen being one of them, Michelle Kwan being one of them. At the time of 2003-ish, Tatiana Tarasova decides that she's going to move her camp to another rink in Connecticut. And from what I could like find, there seemed to be not really like any real like break in the relationship, but they do stop like working together and Nikolai starts to like coach on his own. Shizuka is still trying to kind of get her like groove back. And the programs that she's skating feel like very like theatrical, very like Russian. They almost don't feel like her. And so in this lead up, she decides that she's going to leave Tarasova and she's going to start skating with the 30-year-old Nikolai Morozov in the lead up to the Olympics, along with like Daisuke Takahashi. So he's working with Daisuke Takahashi and they make her free skate music, her short program, and they go back to her free skate that she won the world title with, Turandot. I mean, Italian opera in Italy.
Sure.
Brilliant.
Gonna see a lot of that next year.
Oh, yes, you will.
Oh my God. I
can't wait.
am really not ready for that.
I am so ready for it. That's where we find Shizuka Arakawa as in her lead up to the Olympic Games, that she's decided to part ways with Tatiana Tarasova and she's going to start working with Nikolai Morozov. Now, to like back up a little bit, I told you that she had been working with Tatiana Tarasova for about 3.5 weeks before the World Championships that she won, correct?
You did?
How much do you think Tatiana Tarasova charged her for that 1 month of coaching?
Oh my God. Is it something in like $20,000?
I mean,
$30,000.
$30,000.
Obscene.
You're both too low.
$50,000.
$34,000.
Okay. Well, she won a world title,
Listen,
so
I never want to say that she's not worth it.
But here's the thing. Now, it's like it can be customary, like in the Russian culture, that like you're paid based on like a percentage of like the earnings.
sure.
And
Yeah.
in a way, you can kind of come to terms with Shizuka Arakawa, the like fanfare of being with Tarasova and like the remotivation and like she completely reinvigorated her career and helped her win that world title. But that Shizuka says that like I went to Tarasova, never asked about like what it would cost, and then got this slapped with this bill after the World Championships. She'll then now to kind of like
That's got to include a percentage of the winnings. It's gotta.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But that's how Shizuka
There's no
like,
way that's a
reasons
flat
it to
fee.
herself.
Yeah.
No, because she'll go on to say that like other months are totally different, but that's the highest bill that she's ever paid for anybody is $34,000 for 3 weeks of work.
That's so stressful.
Yeah,
That's the kind of money I want to be making.
every 3 weeks, direct deposit right into the checking account.
Can buy you a lot of furs.
It can. Well, it can buy you probably 2 furs, Tatiana Tarasova furs.
Yeah.
So now, like, what's going on, right? Irina Slutskaya is having this strong season. Sasha Cohen's having a good season. Michelle Kwan is like, is she injured? Is she not injured? Let's focus on like what's happening in the Americas for 1 second. We don't really see Michelle Kwan. And Michelle Kwan has to pull out of the 2006 national championships. But she petitions to be on the Olympic team. And so Sasha Cohen, she skates at the national championships and she actually skates very well. She's like under the weather. She has like a cold or like a little bit of the flu, but she skates like one of her strongest free skates I've ever seen her skate.
Feels like
And
a bad
she's been
omen to do that right before the Olympics.
Well, it feels even
Never
crazier.
skate well before the Olympics.
No, you must skate
Never.
bad.
Bad.
So she's been skating to Romeo and Juliet for her free skate in this gold dress all season. And she wins her first national title in 2006.
Does
Michelle
she
Kwan's
change the
not
dress?
there at the Olympics,
Oh
yes.
my
Stop doing this shit.
No, stop it.
We know
Who
better.
else did this? Plushenko change from a gold to a
Plushenko.
silver shirt. This is,
Yes.
I mean,
Silver LeMay. Like, are you kidding
It's
me?
insane.
but
I
just
don't know
never
what
change out of gold if gold is doing well.
exactly.
If you started in gold, stay in gold.
Finish in
Yeah.
gold.
Stay
Finish
in
with
line.
gold. Yeah.
Finish
Stay
with
in
gold.
line. Yeah, stay in line. So she wins her first national title. A young American skater who had landed the first triple axel at nationals since Tanya Harding in 2005. Kimmie Meissner is on this podium, the silver medalist. And in third place is Emily Hughes, the younger sister of Sarah Hughes. So Michelle Kwan, mini Sarah Hughes. So Michelle Kwan petitions to be on the Olympic team, and they say that it's contingent on her being monitored at her home rink. And they say that she's going to do her short program and her free skate all in one day, and they're going to monitor her, and they're going to say if she's like ready or not. Here she comes. And the monitoring session goes well. The U.S. figure skating officials say that Michelle Kwan looks to be in phenomenal shape. She's ready to go. She's going to be on the Olympic team. That's where we stand there. Emily Hughes will be the first alternate to the Olympic team. Now, Irina Slutskaya, like I said, she's powering through this next season. And she's absolutely still dominating until we get to the Grand Prix final. And at the Grand Prix final, she's upset by a 15-year-old from Japan named Mao Asada.
Whoa.
What? Mao is this early in the lore?
Yeah, because
Yes.
Mao is an original victim of the age rules.
Yes. Now, this brings up a very big conversation of the age rules because, is the best skater in the world going to be allowed to compete at the Olympics? Mao Asada is not age eligible to compete in the Olympic Games.
Right.
And this conversation, gets going because there's been this rivalry building up between her and this other girl from Korea named
Oh my God.
Yuna Kim.
Here we go.
Now,
This is too good. Okay, continue. Sorry. I'm so excited.
now at this point, Mao Asada is further ahead than Yuna.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very exciting because we've never seen a skater from Korea placing well at international competitions. And so in 2005, while Irina was winning her world title, Mao Asada was winning the junior world title, Yuna Kim second at the junior worlds.
Okay.
Now in this next season, Yuna
This
Kim
is so-
staying...
Eerily similar to
Oh, yeah.
what's gone on in the past season.
Oh,
In
yes.
present
Yes.
day. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So Yuna Kim stays junior this whole season, and Mao Asada decides that she's going to do the senior Grand Prix. So that's how she qualifies for the senior Grand Prix final. She upsets Irina Slutskaya, the reigning world champion. She lands a triple axel. It's Mao Asada is the future. And it's the name on everybody's lips. Can you believe Mao Asada? And oh my God, if only she was going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. She's not going. So let's turn our focus to what's actually going to happen in Torino.
Let's.
So on the Japanese side of things, there's another Japanese skater that I'm going to talk about really quickly, and then we'll get to her. Her name is Miki Ando. And at the 2002, 2003...
I love this part of the lore. I love this lore.
When the names pop up and you're like, I know them.
I've been in the locker room with them. Yeah, it's fun.
So 2002, 2003, Miki Ando lands the first quadruple jump ever done by a woman in competition at the Junior Grand Prix final.
Oh, it wasn't even at the senior level.
No. And
Get
it's
it, girl.
oh my God. Can you believe this Japanese girl can do a quad? And it's just, it's unbelievable. It's
Right, they're
it's
like
shocking.
Midori Ito. Here we go again.
Yes. So she has a strong lead up into the next season. But as I said, there is this trend of like, if you are an elite Japanese skater, you're going to need better ice time. And so it's not uncommon that you'll, at this point in time, leave for the United States. And so Miki Ando was training in this Olympic season with American Olympic champion Carol Heiss.
What?
She was training with Carol Heiss. So now as we're getting into the lead up of the national championships, there's another skater who's been like on the scene forever. Super strong, beautiful skater. Her name is Fumie Suguri.
Oh my God.
Now, it's relevant that I bring her up because Fumie skates with the Sato family, which is the family of Yuka Sato, 1994 women's world champion. And Fumie has that same like airy quality to her, beautiful Lori Nickel programs. And in the lead up to the Olympic Games, where everybody's eyes are on Mao Asada, Fumie Suguri wins the Japanese national title.
Okay.
Mao Asada is the silver medalist. Shizuka Arakawa is the bronze medalist. And Miki Ando is 6th at this national championships. Now, for Miki Ando, the story for her is that she's going to be the first woman to land a quad at the Olympics. And that's all anybody's focused on. Now, you might be thinking, like, why Carol Heiss? Well, Carol Heiss was at this kind of time. She had just been the former coach of Timothy Gable, the quad king.
That's the connection.
Yeah, so she's going to Carol Heiss because she's going to land the quad at the Olympic Games. And so they're willing to kind of like, you know, all right, national championships was what it was, but you're going to land the quad at the Olympics. So
they send her anyway.
They send her anyway.
Which is very not like the Japanese Federation, because I feel like these days they're like, the rules are the rules are the rules are the rules.
Right.
Exactly. So it feels like crazy.
Yeah.
Now, so that's your Japanese Olympic team. Irina Slutskaya, she wins her 7th European title. Like, she's back on track. She's not going to let this 15-year-old pipsqueak get in her way. She now has the record for the most European titles. She beats out Katarina Witt and Sonja Henie. And now we are at the Olympic Games. And Michelle Kwan is there. We have not seen Michelle Kwan skate. She was not at the national championships. Michelle Kwan does the first practice, does a triple toe, does not land it, gets off the ice. Michelle Kwan is out of the Olympics.
What?
Mm-hmm. Injury.
Totally. Wait, so does this mean that the monitoring was a little not true, not real?
I mean,
who was in the room?
People
Who was it?
swear by it up and down that like she looked ready. She did our programs for us and she was dealing with this injury. Like, this injury is the same reason why she couldn't go to the national championships. And she's saying, Michelle is saying that when she got to the Olympics, she re-aggravated it. It's a hip injury.
It's possible, yeah.
Okay.
And anything is possible when you're Michelle
When
Kwan.
you believe.
Yeah.
When you believe. And so she's out, which means bring, somebody call the Hughes family stat and get one of those girls on a plane. And that girl is Emily. So now Emily Hughes is at the Olympics. So the Hughes family are 2 for 2 when it comes to their daughters trying to qualify for the Olympics.
Surprise Olympic experience.
Yes. Now, there are no children here. It's all adult women competing for this gold medal. And the favorites are Irina Slutskaya and Sasha Cohen. Now, as we see the practices, because famously when you're at the Olympic Games, the women's event is one of the last events, and you can see the buildup of the practices and how are people skating and what are people looking like. Shizuka Arakawa has just been looking like absolutely like phenomenal. She's doing these like triple combinations in the practices. She's easily doing like all of these clean programs, and she just like looks to be in the best shape of her life. Sasha Cohen looks great. Irina Slutskaya looks very good, but there's something about Shizuka where she looks dialed in. So we have the short program. They all go out, and they're all squeaky clean. Irina Slutskaya, solid as a rock. Shizuka Arakawa, clean skate. But there's something about Sasha Cohen's skate where it's like, oh my God, this girl is a fucking star.
Right. Because she is.
She skates to Dark Eyes and she's flirting with the audience. This is she creates a plague in skating where now everyone will skate to Dark Eyes forever. They did before her, but she ate the bat in Wuhan for this plague. That's her bat.
And it has dark eyes.
It has. Yes.
And a blue dress.
And there's just something like she's undeniable. Like she ends the program and she says to herself, rock star. And we can read her lips. Like she is just in it. And, it's not without it's like, whoa, close calls where she does the craziest double axel I've ever seen in my life where I don't know how she landed it, but she does. But it just adds to the excitement. Like it's crazy the way that the audience is responding to this. They're out of their minds. And she wins the short program. And it's like, holy shit, Sasha Cohen could win the fucking Olympics. And I want you to know that they're separated by like breaths of points, tenths, hundredths of tenths. It's so close for these top three women.
Okay.
Sasha Cohen goes out to skate, and there's just something. She doesn't seem like as engaged. She doesn't seem like as like in the moment. And she goes out, and on the first jump, she's down. On the next jump, she's 2 foot steps out. Oof. And so she's going to have to rally through the rest of this free skate if she wants any hope of even being on the podium.
It's awful.
And she does. I mean, to her credit, the rest of this program is like solid skating, very solid. And it's impressive the way that she's able to rally from the horrible beginning. She gets her marks. Her marks are in. She goes into first place. Shizuka Arakawa is going to come up next. Nikolai Morozov can already see, Shizuka, you don't need the triple. Don't do it. Just go out there and do a clean program. And the way that Shizuka skates is just, it's effortless. It's beautiful. It's inspired. And it's not perfect. She doubles a loop for a planned triple loop, but she skates with heart. And it's like, it's a beautiful moment. It still feels like an Olympic skate. And so she goes into first place with Irina Slutskaya still left to go. This is like Irina's moment.
Hers to lose.
Okay. She goes out and she just seems to be like a little off. But like I said, she's been so solid that she's like, a little off, but like landing things solidly. She's got a pep in her step. Everything seems to be going well until we get to the flip. Double flip. Okay, not a big deal. She skates around, triple loop, fall.
No.
It's shocking. Like this is what her best jump.
Oh no.
And so
she got thrown off by the flip.
She ends, and I really watching this back, have a lot of respect for the way that she handled this disappointment. Because she's obviously incredibly disappointed, and she handles it with so much grace in the kiss and cry. And, it's got to be devastating. But the thing is, how did Sasha Cohen make those 2 errors up at the top? Well, Sasha Cohen got the bonuses for all of her elements in the second half that she landed.
Yeah.
And she didn't pop anything.
Right.
So she got credit for rotating her jumps, full base value.
Yeah. And
so it was the full base value over the 2 falls, right? It's the 2 mistakes, but at this point, the points are still at a point where a triple is worth way more than a double.
Of course.
There's no, coming
still
back
the case
from that.
now. Yeah.
Shizuka Arakawa wins the only gold medal for Japan at this Olympic Games. And is
this
the
Olympic
first
Games was a mess.
It was the first code of points Olympics. And I got to tell you, watching these programs back, they look like they're a bear to do. There's so much in them that it's no wonder they were struggling.
It also feels so crazy, even though it's true, obviously true, that Japan only has one Olympic gold in the women's event. Like, that feels nuts.
It feels nuts.
Yeah.
It feels absolutely so crazy.
Feels wrong.
It feels wrong. But it's right.
It's right.
So Shizuka Arakawa is the Olympic champion. And it's just, wow, what a moment. This is the beginning of like the Japanese women coming into their own. And so to just finish out this season, so that's your Olympic podium. Shizuka Arakawa is the gold medalist. Sasha Cohen is your silver medalist. And Irina Slutskaya, and you can hear the mouthing of the word. Like I remember my coach who I was watching with at the same time said that, like Irina said, I waited 4 years to do that, which is so tough to
that is tough.
like really sit with. But I mean, she had an amazing career, like Irina Slutskaya. She was so joyful, and 2 Olympic medals is like nothing to bat your eyes at.
Of course not. And also, I don't know if you're going to say this, Adam, but that is the most recent Olympic medal for the American women. Sasha Cohen's is.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
They have not been on an Olympic podium since.
Wow. Okay.
It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years.
It's been 80 years.
$34,000 a month.
But yeah, that's crazy to think about.
So obviously, like, this Olympic podium is like a bit scattered of like, okay, what are Irina's like, I'm not going to the World Championships. Shizuka's like, I'm already booked out. Sorry, girls. Have a blast. Sasha Cohen decides that she's going to do like the Olympic media tour. And she's, you know, going to New York, and she's doing talk shows, and she's doing this, but she's going to go to the World Championships because the door's wide open for her to be a world champion. So she goes, and she does not skate great. She skates like she's been at a lot of red carpets over the past few weeks. And out of literally nowhere, American Kimmie Meissner wins the world title, defeating Fumie Suguri. Who was the silver medalist.
Okay.
Sasha Cohen gets the bronze.
Kimmie Meissner had gone to the Olympics, right? What did she get there?
She was 6th at the Olympics.
And then gets first at Worlds a month later.
Yes.
Wow.
And, it was just like she wasn't skating her best at the Olympic Games. Like, the Olympic Games was like riddled with mistakes. But at this World Championships, like, it's the best Kimmie Meissner ever skated. She did 2 triple-triples. Like, it was a very good, strong skate.
Wow.
And so that ends this like Olympic season, because when we get into like the next part of like what happens next, I will tell you what happens next.
This is the end of the Michelle Kwan era, correct?
Yes.
It's done.
Yes.
I'm
done.
like feeling sad. I feel like we've been talking about her for 4 hours of lore episodes straight.
And we could do 4 hours more.
We could. It's just
sometimes it feels like we
crazy.
do. No, it's insane that like she's been, this is the 3rd lore episode, and she's been in all of them so far.
Yeah.
If you remember the Grand Prix final before, it was like a changing of the guard, that the young Asian teenagers are coming. Okay. I mentioned that when a Japanese skater gets to a certain level, it's very common that they will go to an American coach. And that is like, that is exactly what's happening. So Mao Asada originally skates with Midori Ito's coach. And what's really interesting is like the first time I ever saw Mao Asada skate was the 2002 Japanese Nationals. And I remember watching her skate in this like viral, I say viral because like what does that even mean in 2002, right. Skating clip of this little girl, 12, 11 years old. She stands up on a triple axel. She goes around, she does a triple flip, triple loop, triple toe combo, then skates around and does a triple-lutz, triple loop. And it was like, she just did 6 triples in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, I remember being like, I wonder if we'll ever see her again. And then finally, a few years later, she's like on the scene. In the theme of, okay, what's going to happen next? Now, I mentioned to you, Miki Ando was put on that Olympic team to basically for the sole purpose of like landing the quadruple Sao Cow at the Olympic Games. And it's important that I let you know that at the Olympic Games, she not only does not land it, she also wears maybe the ugliest costume I've ever seen anyone ever skate in my life. Black tights, brown dress, armor, something looking like it's truly the ugliest.
What is she skating to?
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Oh no.
It's awful. And I can say that because we will get to her next. But it's just like what Miki Ando is like, it's over. Like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, how can you land a quad salchow looking like that?
It's like she looks like she's like going to a Renaissance fair. Like it looks like she should have like a turkey leg in her hand and like a Disney pass in her other one. Like it's like she looks crazy. So obviously Nikolai Morozov has his like picking of the bunch. Nikolai, who are you interested in working with? And he says he's very interested in working with Miki Ando. So Miki Ando leaves Carol Heiss to go and train with Nikolai Morozov, who has just coached Shizuka Arakawa to Olympic gold and is working with another Japanese man who we've mentioned in the men's lore, Daisuke Takahashi.
Right.
Mao Asada is also planning to leave Japan, and she decides that she's going to train with Raphael Artunian, who had just been working with Michelle Kwan and was currently working as one of Jeffrey Buttle's coaches.
Ah, okay.
And so she moves to Lake Arrowhead, California to work with Raphael. Also, another skater at the time who's making the move to North America from Korea, because this problem of finding ice time is like very tough. Like I remember, when I was young, and it's like 2004, 2005, that there was an adult skater that I skated with, and she would, go to this dry cleaner that was owned by this like Korean family. And she was really excited to talk about like, do they know anything about figure skating? And they should really know about this like figure skater in Korea who's doing like really well. And she told me that the man, the owner of this like dry cleaning was like, I would much rather watch like short track. Sorry. Like I find short track skating like way more beautiful than figure skating. Like figure skating is so boring, whatever.
Boo.
Oh my God, what a
cares?
crazy thing to say.
Short track is like one of the national sports of South Korea. Like
they're very good at it. Yes.
They're very good at it.
Yeah.
And there's never been a Korean figure skater who's like been, worldwide recognized. And so I always remembered that and was like, that's so interesting. Like what an interesting thing to say. And so I say that because the ice time in Korea is also limited. It's a lot of public skates. There's some freestyles, but like it's dominated by short track and speed skating. Yuna Kim is in Korea, and it's very hard for her to like find training time. And it's also, she's there by herself. She has her coaches, but there's nobody even close to her level of skating. She's just at it on her own. She's started to work with North American-based choreographers. She works with Tom Dixon. She works with David Wilson. And she and her mother relay like the issues that they're having in Korea and how tough it is, because Yuna's also dealing with like a lot of injuries too. So to have to deal with the injuries, to be doing it all on your own, to try to find like crazy times to skate, like it's just very unmotivating for her. David Wilson says, you should talk to Brian Orser, because David Wilson is doing all this choreography at the Cricket Club, which is like a rink in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And Brian Orser was teaching at the Cricket Club. And he was like, you should just like ask Brian and like maybe like, see if you guys vibe together. And Yuna and her team, they talked to Brian. He's very reluctant to take her on like as a full-time student. It's, it's a huge responsibility. Like Brian has never worked with somebody like this high level before. And so reluctantly, David Wilson kind of smooths it over and he's like, you should just like, Brian, just like do it. And the Korean Federation is like, we want you to make Yuna a happy skater. because she does not look happy when she's out there. But we know she's so talented. Can you please help her with that? And so that's the task of Brian Orser at first, is just to make Yuna Kim a happy skater. So now we have like Mao Asada in the United States, Yuna Kim in Canada, and Miki Ando, who is like still like, what is she going to do? We have no idea. So in this lead up, so now let's like move like a little bit forward. Let's get ready for the World Championships in 2007. Like, let's start getting there. Mao Asada has been like growing, and she's been just like, she was a 15-year-old the year before. She's having some like issues with consistency. And she's also skating with a new coach who has like different technique. And so she's a little all over the place. She's making some like uncharacteristic mistakes that she didn't make in the past. And she's just, we don't really know like what's going to happen. But she is overwhelmingly the favorite for this world title in 2007 because this World Championships is in Japan. All eyes are on Mao Asada. So in the short program, Miki Ando, who has been training with like Nikolai Morozov. And at this point, I've started to train with Nikolai too. So I have been like watching like the way that Miki Ando has been skating. And I remember like one of the first days, like I got to the rink and I watched Miki skate, and she did a long program that she did 4 triples in. Like she did 2 Lutz loops, 2 flip loops. And it was like, holy shit, I've never seen anybody like do that much shit in a program. And like all the way through. Like, wait, what?
It's a lot of shit.
It's a lot. And then as we got closer and closer, I could see how nervous and like worried she was getting. Like there was a lot of pressure on her too, because the last time she had been at a major event was like the Olympics, and it went so poorly.
And she looked so bad.
She looked like a Renaissance fair worker, like she was collecting tickets. And I can say that because when she goes to the World Championships, Nikolai has her
She collects tickets.
polished like a precious stone. She has this gorgeous dress from Tanya Bass. She's in New York. She's getting New York's favorite skating designer. So she gets this beautiful Tanya Bass, which is like she's a New York-based skating dress. And the programs are good. She's really well trained. Now, I'll say in the lead up, like I would see her go out there and she would skate around. She'd do 1 double axel, fall on that, cry, go home. And I'd be like, I don't know how this is going to go. But by the time she got to Japan and she had done all of this training, because like, I had just gotten there. So I was seeing it like at the tail end of like what she was doing. So you can imagine if she was easily doing these programs with like 4 triples, she'd been doing that for a minute. She goes to the World Championships. She skates a phenomenal short program. And Carolina Kostner goes out and she skates this phenomenal short program. Mao Asada pops her combination jump. She's like, it feels like, okay, she's out of the mix. Like, God, this is like such a like air out of the like building.
Yeah.
Triple flip, single loop. Fuck.
Oof.
So
many loop combinations, by the way.
I know. I was just thinking that. We don't see them so much anymore.
She was not. No, and it was very like Japanese, like a very Japanese women were doing a lot of like loop combos. Well, because also you have to remember if they were, it was hard for them to find ice time and room. If you're looking to do a combination that's not going to take up a lot of space, a loop combo would be that. So it's almost like they started doing these loop combos almost out of like necessity.
That's crazy to think about, but yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
And so, and at this time, like the Japanese technique is very like straight up and down, right? Like, because like if you got to find a straight line to go down because like nobody can get in your way. Like it's not like curvy.
You're not weaving. You're not on a curve.
No. But the short program of the night and the name on everybody's lips is Yuna Kim. She skates to Tango di Roxanne. And it's like,
God.
Holy, like there's
it's
like
so good.
Nobody can breathe.
God, that is a fucking program.
Breathe. It's and it's like, how is this young girl with braces able to like portray this like character? Like it's, and there's just something about the way that she's skating where it's like she's performing the motherfucking hell out of this thing.
And the jump technique is
Impeccable.
Top notch.
yeah.
And these jumps are like from blue line to end of boards. Like they're
Yeah.
enormous.
Huge. Yeah.
And not only that, she's flying. Speed skating, I would even say, to impress the owner of the dry cleaner.
Yes. She knows
Yeah.
her
And
audience.
he still wasn't impressed.
They want to see speed.
They want to see speed skating. And she said, okay, all right.
Let me do a jump.
Now, she's still like battling these injuries that she's trying to get over. So she's not in top form, but this short program is like, damn, where did this come from? Like, we knew that she was going to be in the mix, but we really thought it was going to be like Mao Asada.
Yeah.
So as the long programs go, it's been like a challenging and like up and down season for Mao Asada and her new coaching change with Raphael. And she goes out and she skates like the performance of the night. It's just awesome. Lights out, people crazy. It's like, oh my God, I think she's going to win. Because she lands a triple axel. She lands the triple combinations. Like, she comes back with a vengeance. And Yuna Kim, having issues like with the injury, she falls twice on 2 triple lutzes in the free skate. She's under Mao Asada. There's one Japanese skater still left to go. And it's Miki Ando. And she goes out and she skates this super clean, very polished, completely reinvented version of herself free skate. It's to a violin concerto. It's like it's the perfect match. Like, she's not the most like artistic skater at this point. She's not really skating like to the music. Like, she's hinting at that she wants to, but it's very polished. It's very good. So we have to wait for the scores, because how close is it going to be? Well, Miki Ando takes that short program advantage, and she narrowly, by less than a point, edges out Mao Asada for the 2007 world title.
Wow.
Whoa.
A Renaissance Fair worker
To the world champion. Yes. And that's why it's important, you know, that like a year earlier, she was like in a costume from Party City to now she's on the top of the world's podium. Like, she's absolutely put the work in. She's reinvented herself, and she's like stepped into the potential we all knew that she had.
Yeah.
And she did it without trying a quad. She focused on the triples. She focused on the program. She focused on improving the choreography. She was more well-rounded.
Wow. I'm really happy for her.
Good. So in this, for Miki Ando, the next season is going to be a bit more challenging.
So who got third, by the way? Mao Asada got second. Who got third?
Yuna Kim.
Yuna. Okay.
So Yuna Kim is the bronze medalist. Now, not to like, spoiler alert, but Yuna Kim will never in her career be off of the podium. She never not medals at any event she's ever entered. So if I didn't mention
really
a
nice
skater and
fun
there's still a
fact.
place left, it's Yuna Kim.
Sorry, that I involuntarily laughed.
No, it's just
Because it's
kind of
crazy. It's
hilarious.
amazing.
It's sort of insane. Okay.
So Yuna Kim is on that podium. Mao Asada, silver medalist. Now, Miki will really I think she's trying to find that motivation again. And it's like super controversial at the time because Nikolai Morozov gets into a relationship with Miki Ando. And so there's
Dun, dun, dun.
dun,
Yeah.
dun. And, she's like 19, 20 years old.
He's like somewhat recently divorced from Shaylin Bourne.
Yes. And so like it's a very like hot topic because she's also not skating well right now. Like, she's really struggling to like find that like motivation to like be back in the shape that she like was in.
yeah.
But as you can imagine, but like on top of it, of like the relationship with the coach, like it all feels like very like crazy. And it is crazy, believe me, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's also illegal.
How old is she? 19?
20,
20?
19, 20,
Well,
yeah.
It's
And he's
a conflict.
32,
it's
33.
just distasteful.
It's
Yeah.
distasteful.
Unfortunately, not illegal.
Illegal's wrong.
Yeah. Well, we all remember from the dance lore, he fucked up one of the Russian, like the best Russian ice dance teams too, with
Oh my
his
God, that's
treachery.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Old habits die hard, I guess. Bad habits die even harder.
Bad habits die even harder than old ones.
Oh, God.
So now Mao Asada is starting to have like more time with Raphael and to like settle into like what is this partnership going to look like. And she's still up and down. Like she still has these like inconsistencies that we like wish that she didn't have. And on top of that, Yuna Kim is also having sort of the same inconsistencies. So Yuna can go out and skate a great short program and she'll make a few mistakes in a free skate. Like these two women are like still trying to find their footing of like who's the best. And sometimes one will be on top and one will be on top in another event. So it's very like who's gonna do it? Nobody's pulling away. It's very like even if they skate clean, who's on top? Like we don't know. As we're getting ready and closer to the 2008 World Championships, Mao calls Raphael and she says, Raph, can you please come before the Japanese nationals out to Japan and like train me, please? And he's like, I can't do that. And so he asks, so Mao Asada asks if one of Raphael's assistant coaches, Nadia Kaneva, can she go to Japan? And she can. So she goes out and she works with Mao. And then a few weeks passed. And it's like been planned with Raphael and Mao and her whole team that she's going to come back to California to like train and get ready because Raphael's also training Jeffrey Buttle. So he's not going to leave Jeffrey behind to go to Japan and work with Mao. Like she promised that she would come to Arrowhead. So she calls him again and she says, can you please come to like Japan? Like we'll figure things out and we'll like find like time for Jeffrey to come too. And Raph is just like, I can't do that to like Jeff. Like I can't. And so this goes back and forth. And Raphael at this time, like he says, I was stupid. This is what he says. Because he said, you know what? I don't think that this is going to work out. And he decides that he's going to like end his partnership.
He ditches her?
Mao Asada. Yes. Because he felt like she was like stringing him along or like something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in reality, like when he like reflects on it and we know what we know now is that Mao's mom was very sick and she did not want to share like how sick that she was and how she was doing, but she needed to stay in Japan because she wanted to be with her mom. Mm-hmm. And she, for whatever reason, didn't share that with Raphael. And so, like, Raphael and Mao, like, have stayed close. I even think that she was, like, at the Irvine not too long ago to visit him. And he's, like, apologized for this and was like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So
that's sad for everyone. That's just like a sad situation.
For everyone. Of just, it's like a miscommunication of, like, not knowing everything. And there'll be another miscommunication as we like go on, not between them, but another great big miscommunication that we'll get to. And so in this lead up for the 2008 Worlds, we have Miki Ando, who's the reigning world champion, who's just like she's had a really hard time getting that motivation. She goes to the World Championships and we'll get to Ashley in a little bit. But I even think that Mao skated right before you. And
Miki.
Yes. Sorry, Miki Ando skates right before Ashley, who's making her world's debut.
Oh, yes, she did.
And after the few elements in, Miki Ando pulls out. She withdraws from the World Championships.
Mid-ice.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I was backstage waiting to go on. This is my first World Championships. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like the U.S. team had passed over first place and second place because they were too young to go to the World Championships. And I was the first person who was age eligible at like third place at nationals.
It was Mariah and Caroline Zhang that they passed over?
Flat.
Rachel Flat and Mariah.
Rachel Flat. But she withdraws mid-ice. And I just remember someone coming up to me being like, you have to go out now. And in my mind, I was like, no, I have more time. And they're like, no, you need to get on now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy thing to do to a person making their debut.
As an adult, I would have been like, you can wait. Mm-hmm. I have time. But as a kid, I'm like, okay. It was the worst skate of my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible.
Trial by fire.
And that's the end of part 3. No,
And then I quit.
It's not even that. We're not the end. So, Miki Ando pulls out a young Ashley Wagner in tightly, fresh, hot from the iron curls.
Braces.
With
Also
braces,
pulls out.
yes.
Pulls out of every jump.
Skates.
But not the event.
But not the event.
Now, Yuna Kim, now it's like flip-flopped of like what happens. Yuna Kim has like an issue in the short program and she seems to be like out of the mix, but she skates a strong free skate. Carolina Costner finds herself like back in the mix. But it's Asada who had to announce that she was coming to the World Championships without a coach. No coach. So she skates without a coach at the World Championships, nails the short program, free skate. All right, what's going to happen? She skates into the first element, triple axel. She steps into the axel. Her foot slides from underneath her. She smacks down onto the ice and slams into the boards.
No.
Oh my God.
Then she does what I think is still to this day one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. She gets up, she skates around, and she skates the entire rest of her program cleanly.
Wow.
And she wins her first
she
world
wins.
title. And she
Wait, what is
wins.
she skating to?
She's skating to Chopin, Fantasy Impromptu.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal skate. Like, and it's so impressive because like the gasp you hear in the audience is like, holy
Right, the collective.
moly. Oh, it's like you think she died. Like she
Right.
waxed the wall so hard. So that your
wall,
podium,
too.
you have Carolina Costner back in the mix. Back onto the world's podium, first time since 2005. Asada is finally a world champion, and Yuna Kim again on the world's podium, repeat bronze medalist.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that happens over the next few months that like changes the way things are being perceived, because it's really like, when will Yuna Kim step up, and like when will she step into her own, and who's gonna like, you know, step away? Because at this time it feels like maybe Asada is the one who's like pulled away a little bit, who's now gonna be a bit of like a front runner.
Mm-hmm.
In this like off season, Yuna gets these programs, and especially the short program is like a triumph of brilliant choreography.
Who did
The
it?
Dance Macabre,
Is this okay?
David Wilson.
Yes.
David Wilson. And it's
She's
like,
a David girly for the rest of her career.
yes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, goo goo gaga. Like it's like so undeniable. All the pieces are coming together because this is like a signature figure skating program.
Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you go and you like look for a figure skating program. Like if I have to give you the like the list, like the Yuna Kim Dance Macabre is on this list. I mean, there's no words to describe it. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And so this is the material that she has, and things are just starting to come together, and the injuries are starting to like, she's starting to like recover from them. And I remember at a Skate America that I was competing at, that the women had skated like the day before or like a few hours before, and I was getting to the arena, and the only thing anybody could talk about was, did you see Yuna Kim's short program? You couldn't escape it. It was
Because people just knew, like, that early in the season that it was
the world title.
right.
It
They
was
knew.
the world champions short program.
Yeah.
You knew it from the first moment we saw it at Skate America. You knew it that moment that nobody at least could beat this short program. Yuna Kim is a Michelle Kwan girly at heart. And so she skates to Scheherazade in a very like Michelle Kwan inspired dress.
Totally.
And so like this is like, her skating to music she wants to skate to, but this short program is all about this short program. Holy shit, is this like short program crazy. So now what's going on with Asada? Asada decides I need to find some sort of like coaching situation that's going to work for me, that I can still sort of be like based more time in Japan. So she decides that she's going to hire Tatiana Tarasova.
Who among us, who among these skaters has not at one point
Has
or another
not
hired Tatiana?
crossed paths with Tatiana Tarasova. So Tatiana had been trying to find her way back to Russia because she moved rinks in Connecticut and was really like trying to explore like a way to back to Russia. But the Russians were kind of upset that she had been coaching like foreign skaters. And, she gives this interview and she's like, all coaches work with foreign skaters, just with worse results.
Right.
Which
Queen.
is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Because, they're upset that she's been coaching Shizuka Arakawa to a world title and to Sasha Cohen to world medals. Like, they're mad.
Yeah.
And she's just like, don't be mad. You also work with international teams. You're just not as good as it as I am. And so finally, she finds her way back to Moscow. And she's in Moscow and she has like an assistant coach. And this assistant is the one who will like do a lot of the traveling to Japan to work with Mao. So this is how Mao is able to like split the time between like Russia and Japan.
Okay.
The famous flight from Russia to Japan. Now, the interesting thing that I always think about is that like Mao Asada is like this ethereal, beautiful, like angelic skater. Like I truly have never seen a skater look so light on their feet.
Oh, she's
Floats.
a cloud.
She's a cloud, and it's so beautiful. And the material that like Tarasova consistently gave her was so heavy. It was so, the themes were very dark, and
The themes are so dark, and she was light and bright. And I was listening to this from the dance floor, and I think it's a good way to describe her, like champagne bubbles.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like that's how it was, just
expensive,
yes,
light and airy.
And these programs are all like heavy themes, dark. She's skating to the Masquerade Waltz as a free skate. Like it's very like intense music.
I loved all the music that she skated to.
I loved it too. But like for somebody who was
but it wasn't the right fit.
It wasn't her essence.
Her essence. That's a good way to put it.
And the trouble was that Yuna was now skating to music that was her essence.
Well, Yuna had dialed in.
She was dialing in at this point because I really feel like she truly dials in when we get into the Olympic season.
Totally.
But Mao is again having these like growing pains of like new coaching situation, new kind of program themes that she's taking on, and she's off the world podium in 2009. On this podium, for the first time, a Canadian skater who like we've known is amazing, who we couldn't stop talking about their Firebird program in 2004, 2005, like all the potential in the world, Joannie Rochette.
Yes.
Joannie Rochette on the world's podium.
Here she is.
Also on this podium, Miki Ando makes a triumphant return to the world's podium. Now, this is like the first world title for Korea in figure skating. It's incredible. It's amazing. Let's get into that Olympic season. Come on. I'm getting hot. I'm getting so excited.
So am I, for the wrong reasons. Go ahead.
So in this Olympic season, so there's like a theme that I didn't mean to do on purpose, but like I was skating with Miki Ando as she like won her world title. And then like I found myself like in Toronto at this time, like right before Yuna won her world title in 2009. And so like then we skate all together.
So it's you.
Well, and also I'll say something else. I was skating like the whole summer in Delaware right before Kimmie Meissner won her world title.
Wait, you are the reason. And then you lost a little bit of your mojo.
Yes.
By the end. Yeah.
Well, and then also because so another like I want to say like share a little like story is that like so when I was working with Nikolai, we would go to Japan and I would stay at like the Chukyo University dorms, which is like, that's the university that like Mao and Miki are both from, Chukyo.
It's a sport university,
yes.
right?
And there's a rink there and they were both given like the Miki hours and the Mao private ice hours. Okay. And so, we would go, I would just need to like get there and I wouldn't have like, they would, make sure that I had a place to stay and everything. Like it was great. And so Ashley has mentioned on the podcast that like, she thinks that I'm like an intense worker. Okay.
You are. It's not think, I know.
Yeah. Well, that's a reputation that's followed me because while Raphael was fighting with Mao Asada on the phone, she was skating at Chukyo University, and I was out there with everybody. And so I was there when, Mao would be there and her sister would be there and her mom would be there. And her mom was always like, who is that like crazy white boy who's like always on the treadmill or always on the ice? Like he's using every minute of the Miki session. Like he's using every second of every minute. Like, who is this boy? And so, I remember that like there'd be times where like Mao's mom, she'd come over to me and she'd be like, something's like this long sentence in Japanese. And then somebody would turn to me and they'd go, she thinks you're very handsome. But I think she like took a liking to me because she could see that I was like working hard. And so like I would always get invited to like Mao's show, the ice in Japan. And when I was younger, she would always make sure, her mom would always make sure that my mom had a ticket to come to Japan to watch the show and see me in the show.
That's very
that's
sweet.
so kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll always like remember how like kind her mom was to like me and to like making sure my mom was there. And of course, my mom, who like doesn't speak literally a lick of any other language except Japanese, would like sit down
She
with
only
Mao's mom
speaks
for like
Japanese.
hours.
Yeah.
She only speaks
Kelly Rapon, fluent in Japanese.
And so then she'd like go away. I had the nicest conversation with Mao's mom. And I'm like, you both don't speak what did you do? And she's like, I don't know. We just got it. And I'm like, okay.
No, as a mother, I can now speak to this.
You can speak mother.
You do.
Yes.
You speak mother.
And so, I'll always have like a soft spot for like a Mao Asada and like how nice her mom was. And like, I can only imagine like what she was going through to like make sure that she was able to like train and be nearby and like all of that. Another mother that I have a soft spot for is Mihi Park, Yuna Kim's mother.
Okay.
Your former mother-in-law.
Mama's boy.
Right. So at this like time, Yuna has been like the only skater training at the cricket club who's like elite international like level skater. And then I come to the rink and now there's like two of us. And I think that like we, had this like relationship where it was like we both wanted the same things. We were both in like a foreign country and like we were both there, like had these like big goals and like dreams. And so like I remember this like period of time of like I really look back on it like so fondly because it was like so fun and it was like such an exciting time and it was like my first time trying to make it to an Olympics and it was just like it was exciting, it was fun, and that team set up at the cricket club was just like you couldn't beat it. It was just like the vibes were too good. Like it was great. And it was just like great people. It was Brian had like great technical coaches there. Brian was a great coach. He had spin coaches. David Wilson was in and out of the rink all the time. Tracy Wilson was in and out all of the time. Like a phenomenal group of people. And so in the lead up to this Olympic Games, all eyes are on the Mao Asada Yuna Kim, who is going to come out on top, right? And it's like also quite exciting because it's another Canadian Olympics that Brian Orser is going to be at. And like, what's going to happen to like Brian's student? Like, there's so much like unknown and like we're on pins and needles to like figure out what's going to happen. I mentioned Yuna's mom before is that I think that she's like such a smart woman, like so smart, because she really needed to like dedicate herself to like her daughter's dream of like being like Michelle Kwan and being in the Olympics, and she needed to figure out all of this stuff on her own. There was no former Korean skater that she could go to. Like her mom found these different coaches. Her mom was able to somehow like convince Brian Orser to become a coach. She willed it to happen while also like not pushing her daughter into something that she didn't want to do. Like it was so evident to me that like Yuna enjoyed what she was doing and she was like injury free. And she was like in the moment. I've never seen anybody so like locked in with like so much pressure on them.
Oh, there was an insane amount of pressure on her.
Insane amount of pressure. And I've never seen somebody like kind of be like, it's kind of fun. Like who knew what was going on, who was in on it, but also in on it like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was amazing. It was like so incredible. And I remember that we were getting our programs done by David Wilson. And in the summertime at the cricket club, they like melt the ice and then you have to go and skate at like the curling rink, which like the size of a curling rink is like half of a rink. Like it's almost like the quarter of a rink. But we'd go and we'd do like little pieces there and we do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I remember David like called me over and he was like, I haven't played this for Yuna yet, but what do you think of this? And he plays
Oh my God.
James Bond.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's cool.
And I'm like, holy mother of God.
Yeah.
People are going to die.
Yeah.
She's going to kill them.
Good people will die.
Good people will die. I'm like, she's going to skate to James Bond. He's like, we got to do something like totally different. And this is like totally different. And I remember the first time I heard her like long program music and it was just like gorgeous. And she was like excited by it and she was having fun. And I remember like she'd get her costumes done for this season. And the first time she ever like wore her short program dress, I'll never forget. She was like in a messy bun. You know, it's like at the rink, like practice.
Yeah.
Messy bun. And she like comes out in the dress. And if like you remember the dress, it's like a one shoulder and then she has like a choker. And she came out and she was like trying to figure out like what cartoon she was set. She's like, I look exactly like this cartoon. And I'm like, what is it? And she like gets out, like takes her mom's computer and like types it in. And she said that she looked exactly like Pebbles and Bam Bam in the costume. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Well, also because she had like the bun up and everything.
Bun,
and
the
so
messy
like,
bun.
I always was like, that's the Pebbles and Bam Bam costume. But she was like so locked in from the beginning of like this season. Like just locked in and she was enjoying it. And it was like we were having fun training together and like, you know, it's just it was so fun. And as we got like closer and closer to the Olympics, tension and like everything was like all around us. But it was like so she wasn't affected by it. And I was like so impressed with how like, you know, because she'd go to the rink and she'd be at the rink. It'd be her mom, her therapist, and her agent. So there would be the three of them at the rink watching every session every day. And I think like in a way, you know, her mom was like, Adam needs to be working with the therapist because she was like worried about like me injuring myself or something. So I think like her mom was able to channel some of her like stress into me and like be like, no, have Adam work with Mr. Sung, the therapist. And so it was like a way for her to like release that stress. And I think like when Brian was a part of that team, it was the first time like all of these like anxieties and worries, like her mom could like relay them to somebody and like nobody would need to worry about it because they would be in the coach's hand at this point. Because I know that like her mom would watch the skating events from like the very beginning, like skater 1.
Oh my God.
And she would see what jumps people were struggling with. And she would see like if they were struggling with toe jumps, maybe the ice was a little too hard. Or if they were slipping out on edge jumps, like maybe the ice was a bit too soft. And she would relay all of these notes to Yuna's agent, who was backstage.
Oh my God.
And she would be like, tell Brian all of this. You know, that like the Azerbaijani skater is having trouble with her toe jumps. And so obviously Brian would go, thank you, and then never say a word of it.
Right.
But it was like, this is the kind of detailed research that Yuna's mom had to do to help facilitate
and to like relieve
like,
her own
daughter's
anxiety.
dream. Like
Yeah.
Yes. And she never pushed it any further than that. And I can't like imagine like the restraint that it took.
Oh, totally.
But like she let go and let cricket club And that's really what she did. And it was like and she was able to like find ways to like channel like anything that she thought would be like helpful or not. Even to the point of like I remember her mom being like, Yuna really needs to do like a triple toe next year because they started like, giving her an exclamation point like on a flip. And so, she's the one who like is the catalyst for that change. So, she's still calling a few shots here and there. As we get ready and we get closer to the Olympics, I'm going to just like take us right there. That I remember that we used to do these like monitoring sort of like, we would call them simulations. And I'd rather simulate killing myself than do one of these simulations.
Couldn't agree more.
And they'd be on a Saturday morning and they'd be awful. And I remember that I was needing to do a simulation for, I don't know, maybe because I was not going to the Olympics. I don't know. Maybe I didn't even need to do it. Doesn't matter. So we used to do these simulations on a Saturday morning, and Yuna was going to do her long program, and they were leaving for the Olympics next week. And at these simulations, you did a 6-minute warm-up, and you skated in your costume, and you did your program. And this is the plane is refueling. They're about to leave for Vancouver. And Yuna goes out and she skates maybe one of the worst free skates I've ever seen her
It's
skate
a good sign.
ever. Pops
Good
the
sign.
first. It's a good sign. She's in the dress, pops the first jump, falls on another, pops another one, falls on another one, and she ends it and she's like hysterically laughing.
Oh,
Because she's
cute.
so like, and this
Like, it
was
was
just
so
like
bad.
the mindset that like she was in. And I want you to know that like when she was training, she would always do a clean short program. There's no question she's doing a clean short program every day. But that free skate, she was always making 2 mistakes. And it was never the same thing. She would always make 2 mistakes. She'd pop something or fall on something, or she'd pop one thing or like something. But there would always be at least like one major mistake. I'd only seen her skate one clean long program that had a few like very scratchy landings in practice. Only one time. Every other time a mistake. But it was always different, and she'd always go back and she'd fix it, and she'd always like finish the program. Like she was prepared to go out and like to do it. As she goes and she skates this program, I remember we're all sitting together like in a booth at the cricket club. And Brian's there, and I'm there, and Yuna's there, and Yuna's whole team. And Brian like looks at her, and he's like, "Welp, better here than there." And just like this laugh, and that was that. And so then they go off to the Olympic Games, and they're there for a while. And I know that Yuna was not staying in the Olympic Village. They stayed at like a off the grid, the Vancouver grid. They stayed, in a hotel. Like they got the whole entourage stayed at the whole hotel. I was asking her, how's practice going? And she sends me. Also, it's like 2010. Like text messages we're bare bones at this point. Okay. So she sends
T9 is alive and
it's
well.
T9, yeah. So I text her and I'm asking her like, how are things going? Blah blah blah. And she text me back and she goes, I skated a clean long program in practice today. LOL, winky face.
Bad sign.
And I knew like it was like that's of course you did. Like of course like now you're there and you're skating well and like. I just like she was so relaxed and she was like so ready. Now, this is before the event starts. And so obviously like other contenders for gold is like Asada is still in the mix, but there's just this momentum that's like undeniable behind Yuna Kim. She can feel it. We can all feel it. And it is what it is. But there's so much excitement around Canada possibly having a woman on the podium. And
Oh my God.
all eyes are going to be on Joannie Rochette. She was just on the world's podium. Like, this is going to be an amazing moment for her. And so she gets to the Olympics, and shortly after she is in the Olympic Village, she's notified that her mom, within hours of arriving in Vancouver, had died of a heart attack.
Awful.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this. fucking horrible.
And this like sends shock waves down the entire, like throughout the entire event. Everybody's like, oh my God. And
she was incredibly close with her mom too.
This is 2 days before the short program that this happens. And her coach masterfully finds a way to help her navigate without any media, and everybody is so respectful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget that short program.
I don't think anyone will.
And that short program,
yeah,
she goes out and everyone knows what happened. Everyone knows that this girl just lost her mom 2 days ago. People are almost crying before she like even starts. Like, I can't believe she's even here.
Just
I was sobbing.
a triumph for her to be in the middle of the ice.
And what I loved about this is that, like, I don't know exactly what her like mindset was or what she was thinking or whatever. But I've talked to Joannie about this, and I was like, do you realize that you did this? And she's like, oh yeah. And so she starts this program, and she goes into the first jump, triplets, double toe, and she trips on one of the backward crossovers. Like, trips like almost like if she recovers very quickly, but it's one of the ones where it's like she could have eaten shit.
Yeah, she could have gone down.
And it was like after this trip, I think it's like the best thing that ever happened to her, because she like locks and loads into this program and is like solid as a rock. You can hear a pin drop as she does this skate. And when it's over, Scott Hamilton is the American commentator. He can't even get a word out. He's in tears. It's one of the most incredible and like most powerful skates I've ever seen. And it's breathtaking. It's so sad and so beautiful all at the same time. And it's just, I mean, it's an absolute moment.
Yeah.
Now, another moment is, you might remember in the Men's Lore Part 1, we talked about a little bit of dark magic. Zagainov. Now, who did Zagainov work with? Yagudin, who also worked with Morozov. And in the morning of the short program, Yuna is warming up, and at surprisingly, like at the very end of the wall is like Nikolai Morozov like staring her down.
Oh shit.
And she goes into a triple flip and she eats fucking shit. And I remember hearing about this, being like, what? And they're like, he popped up out of nowhere.
Like he out of thin air.
Yeah. And so she goes, like, she eats shit. She like does 2.5 rotations, like falls smack, WWE style. Ronda Rousey, she's out. And I remember being like, no, that can't happen. And so I knew that had happened in the morning, and I knew that like she was like, it's fine. And this short program was just like, again, she goes in and she has like a moment where she almost trips before the flip, and she nails the flip, and she has this like phenomenal program, and she's flirting with the cameras, and she's just like, everyone else is competing at the Olympics, and she gets to do the exhibition during the event. It's like clear as day, nobody is going to beat this. And then you have Mao Asada, who goes out, and Mao Asada skates a great short program, but it's just undeniable. You know, she does a triple axel, double toe. Throughout the whole competition, Mao Asada, she will get the silver medal, and she'll land 3 triple axels across the entire event.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's amazing. But again, like this material that she had with Tarasova was like so heavy. It was very heavy. It was not the essence of Mao. Like Mao was skating these beautiful like light Lori nickel programs before, and it was the comparison was so stark compared to Yuna so in her element versus Mao trying to skate this like it felt like so abrasive to like who she was.
Yeah.
And so it didn't, at that point, it was not a rivalry. It was, she's doing what she can to like make it up, because it was like Yuna had like stepped into the light, and she was skating on another plane. And I remember being like so fucking nervous watching this like Olympic program. I'm sitting in my apartment in Toronto, It was like a hotel, so beautiful. And I remember watching and I remember thinking like, oh God, like, I wonder what Brian is thinking. Because it's like, last time he was here, it was this Ashley Silver Spoons. Canadian curse. Like, what does this mean? And the last time she skated this program in front of people was at the cricket club on a Saturday morning where she fell 5 times. Like, okay.
Could go either way.
Here we go. And she just, I remember, was nervous, but ready and felt good and calm. And she goes out and she skates this long program. And I've never seen her skate anything like it in my life. Never in practice.
Really?
Never in competition. I've never, ever seen her skate like that. And it was, couldn't set a foot wrong. It's one of the greatest Olympic gold medal winning skates of like all time.
Yes.
It will always be. It's one of the greatest skates of all time because she was above it. She was above it all. Like it was, she was more concerned about, you know, she wasn't, but it feels that she's more worried about like the smile at the end of the double axel triple toe than she is about the double axel triple toe. She's more concerned about hitting the movement on the music, but she'll just do a triple toe on it anyway. It's like out of this world. Nobody's going to touch her. And she is undeniably the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, and it's like the highest score ever. It's crazy. She gets like a 150.
Yes.
Before anybody is getting
150.
anything in that neighborhood.
Close to that.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's out of the water. She's the Olympic champion. And Mao Asada is the silver medalist. And Joannie Rochette skates a really solid free skate. And she gets the bronze medal. And there's some buzz of like, there was an American skater who had like the performance of a lifetime there. So like, she's definitely one to watch. And her name is Mirai Nagasu. Mirai Nagasu skates this clean program at the Olympic Games, and everybody's like, that's somebody to like watch out for. And so it's with this Olympic podium, like this is absolutely like an incredible podium.
I bet that dry cleaner knows who she is now.
Well, you know, to kind of put a button on that, he does.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the South Korean stock exchange, the like volume of trading on the stock exchange dropped by half, by 50% during Yuna's 4-minute program. Like
That's
all
amazing.
of South Korea stopped what they were doing to watch
Oh
her.
yeah, I mean there was like there was so much attention on her, and also like I want you to know that like the attention on her was also on this like partnership of her and Brian. Like it was such a team. It was Yuna and Brian, Team Orser. Like it was just like everybody was all about this like Orser Kim partnership. And you'd think that like it was like nothing could ever come between them. That nothing would like, and how could it now? Olympic gold. Brian Orser is finally vindicated from his like Olympic silvers. He's now coached an Olympic gold medalist. So as we get ready for the World Championships, I don't remember exactly. I think Yuna had some sort of commitment to like the Korean broadcast that she would be at the World Championships. And so I remember when we were at the rink, and I mean, I'm excited because Johnny and Evan are pulling out of Worlds, and that means I'm going to go. So I'm going to go to my first Worlds. So now I'm getting ready for the Worlds. And you could just tell that Yuna was like emotionally completely empty.
Yeah.
Just like had given every ounce of her being to that Olympic skate. But she had committed to going to the World Championships. And I remember like one day we're getting ready and like we're warming up together, and she just like sits down and sobs. And it was just like, do you really have to go? And she did really have to go. So that wasn't a helpful advice. But it was so hard for her to get ready because I also this is the first person I've ever known to win an Olympic gold medal or win a medal at the Olympics. And so obviously I was like, I want to see it. You have to bring it to the rink tomorrow. I have to see this. And she comes into the rink the next day and I'm like, do you have it? It's like we're doing a drug deal.
Right.
Do you have it? And she's like, oh yeah. And she shuffles in her purse and pulls it up like it's a fish.
Yeah, like a trout.
And I hold it and I keep thinking it's a yes. And I remember holding it being like, oh my God, this is what we go crazy for. This thing that's just in my hands.
Yeah, the thing that's just buried in her bag.
And I handed it back to her and she lightly tossed it back into her. Very I want everybody to know, respectfully tossed it into her bag, okay? But tossed it.
Yeah.
Where you'd think the Olympic gold medal, you're going to fold it and you're going to breastfeed it and you're going to do all this stuff.
Right.
But it was seeing that also breaks the illusion of that it's this impossible thing. And if you're Yuna, your idol, Michelle Kwan, you just achieved something that she wasn't able to even do. You've now surpassed your idol.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't imagine what was going through her mind of what's the point of going into the rink and doing another long program right now?
Yeah.
And so she really struggled to get ready for that championships. So that when we got there, everybody's coming down from the Olympics. Who wins that short program? Mirai Nagasu, first place after the short program. Yuna Kim, 7th.
I remember this. People were losing their fucking minds.
Yeah, it was oh, holy shit. Here we go.
Here we go.
To make a long story short, Yuna has this rough short program. She comes back and she wins the free skate, but Asada is able to get her second world title and kind of vindicate herself from her Olympics. And, it's there was a lot of pressure on Yuna. You can imagine that the pressure was very similar on Mao because there's a reigning Japanese woman who's the reigning Olympic champion. It can happen again. And not only that, in a way, Asada was the favorite for Olympic gold in 2006. She's been living with this expectation for 5 years.
Well, and I mean, she does 3 triple axles and still gets silver. It's
right.
Oof.
But at this time, it's interesting because it's Yuna was taking the triple loop out. Mao was not doing the triple toe or the triple sow cow. So she's reliant on these fliplets loops.
Mm-hmm.
And then what really kills Mao is that they start doing edge calls because she has these big flutzes. And so she's now has she's repeating 2 lutzes. Now all of a sudden, she should only do 1 because she's going to get negative GOE. So it's what she was gaining a lot of points for, she starts to lose as the rules change.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the triple axel is so vital to her because she's getting called under on these triple combinations. So she's having to do a triple axel double toe in the short program to keep up with the clean triples of Yuna Kim.
What happened to Mirai? She wins the short program.
11th in the long, 7th overall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura Lepisto from Finland wins a medal at the World Championships for Finland. And
what the hell? Sure.
Why the fuck not at this point,
Right.
Yeah.
Why the hell fucking not? It's the post-Olympic season. And as we were just talking about, how do you find the motivation? We talked about so many skaters who won world titles and then struggled to find the motivation to skate the next season. But how do you do that if you've won the Olympic Games? Well, Yuna was continuing to skate and she was very iffy on what she was going to do next. But she was came back to Canada. And she was still coming into the cricket club. She was, not in great shape. She was trying to figure out, she was just trying to stay on the ice. All right. And Brian is obviously now getting really busy. And he's having, a lot of, students wanting to come in and to work with him after, the big Olympic success. And he asks Yuna and Yuna's mom and agent, like, do they want him to put time aside for him to work with Yuna? And they say, you know what, over the summer, like, we don't need any, like, she doesn't need any lessons. You know, because Brian was like setting aside like an hour, 45 minutes a day to like work with her. But if she's just going to be skating around trying to keep her feet wet, like, she doesn't need a lesson, right?
Yeah.
And so she's still trying to figure out what she's going to do, but she's like sort of like semi-committed to like doing the world championships in 2011. And as we get closer and closer into the season, Brian is getting a bit antsy. Like, he hasn't had a lesson with Yuna in a while. And so it's August now. So he sits down and has like a meeting, him, Tracy Wilson, Yuna's agent, and Yuna's mother. And they tell him that like they don't need any more lessons right now. Brian says at the end of the meeting that he turns around and he goes, so like, let me get this straight. Like, we're no longer like working together. And they go, yes. I fully believe that this is like a miscommunication. And I think that Brian was getting like really kind of anxious of like, are we working together? What are you doing here? Like, what's going on? And a miscommunication of like, Yuna doesn't need lessons right now. Because if she, like, I just believe at this point that like, she wouldn't be coming into the rink if she was wanting to go, you know, like.
Right.
And so Brian announces preemptively of Yuna Kim ever announcing anything, announces that Yuna Kim has fired him.
Why?
Because that's what he
Control
believes
the narrative
was told.
And, yeah,
that's what he believes was told at in that meeting. And you know, I wasn't in that meeting. You know, and at that point, like, you know, Yuna and I had like a little like fling, like our little like teenage thing. And at this point, like, we weren't doing that anymore. And so like, we weren't like as close as we were at this time. So I don't really know like everything that was going on, but I was there and I could see everything. And I could see a young girl that was like struggling to figure out what she was going to do, but like who had always found like a home at this like place and found like a sense of normalcy where like everybody treated her like a normal person and nobody was like, you know, treating her any differently. Like, even in Toronto, there's a big Korean population there. Like, we couldn't take the subway. We had trouble like, you know, sitting in like different restaurants and stuff. Like, people were always coming up to her. Mm-hmm. And so like at this one place in Canada, it's like everybody treats her like a normal person. I remember that, you know, Brian did this like one interview and I watched it and I'm like, I want to pass away when I watch it, because he talks about, he's like, listen, I wanted to get ahead of this so that like when this news comes out, it doesn't like interrupt with like the season, because I don't want to be at Skate Canada with Adam Rippon and this news to be coming out and to distract from anything.
Oh, it's your fault.
Oh, I'm like tears running down my face. I'm like, don't say that. Now, I mean, it's like crazy. Brian announces that the partnership is over. Yuna goes on Twitter and she writes, you know, in broken English, but along the lines of I'm paraphrasing, of like, Brian, why are you lying?
Really?
Yes. And she goes on a Twitter that I helped her make. Again, this is my fault. But like, I don't remember what the exact thing was because she deleted it, but I know that because they mention it in this news article. Of like, Brian, stop lying, or like, Brian, why are you lying? That's not what happened, blah, 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 which is like why I fully believe that this is like a full miscommunication and somebody who was just getting like, because, you know, she was like working with a few other coaches at the rink of like on the pole harness because she was trying to get some of her triples back. And I just like think that maybe he felt like he was being left out, whatever. I don't want to speculate.
Do you think that it's possible, based on what you know, I'm not asking you to speculate, but do you think it's possible that her mom's intention or her agent's intention was to fire Brian, but that they didn't talk to Yuna about it? I don't know what her relationship was like with those people. Like, do you think that's possible that they would do that?
Well, I'll tell you that like the way that like Brian was like very much a team leader, right? But like when I worked at the cricket club, I had a technical coach. His name was Ghislain Briand, who like would eventually become one of the
Hughes or Hughes,
yes,
big coach. Yeah.
And Ghislain was like, I always called him Giz the Whiz, where like he was the tech whiz, Giz the Whiz. And I loved working with Ghislain. And so there'd be times where I'd be like, I don't need a lesson, Brian. Like I need to work with Ghislain. And I think that like, you know, eventually when because when Yuna left the cricket club, this completely changed the dynamic of everything that like happened there. And I started working like solely with Ghislain at the very end before I like ended up leaving. And it just like the whole dynamic of everything, it was not the same. Like, and I like, that's why I wanted to share like what it was like training together. Cause it was like truly like so fun that year before. And it was like, I was doing this with somebody who I was really close with, and we were in it together and we were supporting each other. And it was just like, it was I like look so fondly back at that time. And it was so different in this season. And it was like, I gotta get out of here. And you know what? Like at the end of the day, whatever it was, Brian was able to like take that situation of like the working with Yuna and when I left, it was like all the elite skaters had left, and he absolutely turned it into a lesson, and it then became one of the greatest like men's coaches of all time.
Yep.
So, but at this time, like Yuna is like now like Brian, like the announcement is like all over the place. Like, this is
now
huge,
they're fighting,
well,
so
and
she has to
they've
go.
also been doing like sponsorship deals in Korea together. Like they've been doing like air conditioner things, and like Brian wrote like a autobiography in Korean, and like they were very intertwined, where it was like Coach Orser and Yuna Kim, like the team. And it was just like, it was a nightmare. It was like an absolute a nightmare. Like you couldn't imagine like that it was happening. And that like, and it's so unprecedented that a coach is the one to take this initiative.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is crazy. I think that's absolutely like insane, especially for like where this student is like coming from and what they've been through and like trying to figure out the next steps. I mean, it was an insane time, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like both sides were being a little crazy. Like it would be crazy if they were like firing Brian.
Yes.
And it also is crazy for Brian to be like, I'm going to go announce this to get ahead of it, and I'm not going to speak to the student at all.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy too.
He never spoke to her, and the first time he heard her say anything about it was this tweet.
Yeah, well, and that's partially on him.
Completely.
Like, I get it. You had a meeting with the agent, but like, at the very least, it's not like to talk her out of it, right? Like that would be inappropriate. She has an agent, but it's like, go have like a cordial conversation of just like, hey, this is what they told me. I just want you to know I'll always be here for you. You're welcome to stay. Like even just to say something nice.
But she's now going to leave the cricket club. But where's she going to go, right? So it's like Yuna's going to figure out what she's going to do next, because she kind of said that I'm going to do this next World Championships. So she decides that she's going to follow her idol, and she's going to skate at her favorite skater's rink in Artesia, California. She's going to skate at Michelle Kwan's rink, and she's going to train with Peter Obergaard.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
Wait, you guys don't know this?
No.
So Peter Obergaard is
I mean,
like an
Ashley
American...
warned that she wouldn't know things, and I think it goes without saying that I don't know things.
Yes. Oh, that goes without saying, for sure. So she goes to California to work with Peter Obergaard and live in Los Angeles. Peter Obergaard, he's like an American pair skater. He'll later be suspended for like emotionally abusing his students and for biting one of them on the arm in 2013.
Yeah. Not Yuna, though.
You're saying later. That's not that much later. It's like 2 years later.
Well, it's later. It's
Took
later.
some time
It's
for
always
him
later
to get
somewhere.
suspended, though.
So she skates with him, and I was not living in California at the time. But, you know, obviously, like that's eventually where Ashley and I would start skating with like Raphael. And so I was always so curious because I know the way that it was like when I skated with Yuna and the way that she worked. And she was like she was so in it. Like, it's so hard to compare that time. But it was, from what I've heard, was that when she skated in LA, it was like somebody who was like very frustrated and really going through like a tough figuring out time of like, what am I doing here? And so she does go to that world championships, and it's not great. It's like a little uninspired because I think she's uninspired.
Yeah.
So she already announces that she's not going to skate the next season, but she does, like I mentioned, never not on a world podium. Get the silver medal behind Miki Ando, who wins her second world title.
Wow. She's back. Okay.
So Yuna says, I'm going to go out. I'm out. Sorry. It's been really real. Now let's turn to like the United States. Ashley, get ready. Lock, load in.
I'm locked in.
So in 2011, right, the year after, in the United States, Alyssa Cisney wins the Grand Prix final. She's the U.S. champion in 2011. And she has this great season, and she's definitely the favorite to win the national title. And then there's a few others in the mix, and one of those skaters in the mix is somebody who named themselves the Almost Girl.
Oh my God, this haunted me. All the dumb shit I've ever said
This
in my
is the
entire
dumbest.
life. This is the dumbest.
To say, I'm the Almost Girl.
Branding opportunity, though, like
Too good of a
brilliant.
soundbite
Yeah.
I know.
to be passed up.
And
Well, I
so
was.
the story is, now Ashley, like, you correct me if I'm wrong, of like whatever. So Ashley, to give a little lore on like Ashley, because it's very important that we do that here on this podcast, the Run Through, your favorite figure skating podcast. Ashley growing up was never like the favorite for like gold, but always like in these mixes. Now we mentioned like Mirai Nagasu and Caroline Zhang, and Rachel Flatt. We've mentioned like these skaters before, to the point where like this Caroline Zhang Mirai Nagasu was like so intense that like I think ESPN2 was showing the junior women's nationals free skate on TV. And so
What?
Oh yeah,
I don't think I made the show.
well, they were showing. Well, here's the thing: Caroline Zhang was like skating, and she had done a junior Grand Prix where she's like this American skater. For the longest time, she was trying like a million triple jumps. They were all like a half turn cheated. Then she shows up the next season. Now she skates with Mingzhu Li, who was the coach of Lu Chen.
That's right.
Yes, and
Whoa.
she got her spins taught to her by Lucinda Rue, another program that you need to like get into the canon. 1999 world's long program, Lucinda Rue, the best spinner of all time. So that's who's teaching Caroline spins. And Mingzhu is like not worried about Mingzhu, like I know her so well. Mingzhu. Miss Coach Lee, excuse me, Coach Lee is really not worried. Like she's having her like little, 9-year-old girl go out there and try all the triples she wants. But then one year, Caroline goes, "Oh, I'll just do these all the way around now."
Yeah.
And she shows up at her first junior Grand Prix and she wins it by 50 points.
What?
Insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Because again, like she's doing the jumps now and the spins are like out of this world.
She's a spin named after her
positions-
called the Pearl.
Yes.
It's this layback variation where she literally turns herself into like an
a
oyster
clamshell.
shell.
Yeah. And so she's like, people are like, she's the next Michelle Kwan. And so they're going to do all of this stuff. And like what happens is that another girl who had been doing cheated triple jumps, who decided that I'll start doing them cleaned, Mirai Nagasu. So she had to qualify to get to nationals because she never even made it to nationals before, shows up at junior nationals and beats Caroline Zhang in the junior women's short program. Obviously, clear the fucking time schedule. ESPN2, let's get the director on the line. We got to show this women's free skate.
We gotta.
So Mirai Nagasu wins the junior women's free skate and national title. Caroline Zhang is second, and Ashley Wagner is third. Ashley Wagner, really great technical skater, but like just overshadowed by these like two phenoms at the moment.
Well, and trash skater in every other sense at that point in my
Unrefined.
career.
Ashley had an
Sure.
unrefined style at this time.
Raggedy,
Raggedy.
as was said about some ice dancers.
And I said, hold my beer.
And hold my raggedy
What year
Andress.
are we? Is this junior nationals? What year are you in?
This is 2007.
Yeah, this was
We've gone
a
back.
little
Yeah,
bit.
so
Quite a bit.
we've gone
Okay.
back. So this is just to tell you that Ashley's always been like on the bubble, and she's always been in the mix. But there's always been somebody. Why she's now named herself the Almost Girl. That there's always been somebody like Ashley's always been there, like on the brink. She's been medaling at Grand Prix, but there's always some American skater that's like in the spotlight. It's not been Ashley, and she has all of this potential, and we're just waiting to see like what will become of Ashley because she's super consistent. She's very solid. She's a really strong-headed competitor. But like, will she refine her skating and like, what will it take? Ashley was absolutely a favorite to make that Olympic team in 2010,
Hence the Instagram handle.
the Ash Wagner 2010.
Yeah.
And so Ashley loves to say something that will haunt her for the rest of her life, like the Almost Girl and Ash Wags 2010.
Yeah.
Ashley is fourth place after the short program, and she has a great free skate, but it's, Rachel Flatt and Mirai Nagasu who...
I was third place. There were 2 women spot for that Olympic team in 2010.
Which they like announce in like the Carrie Lotion Lounge, sponsored by AT&T, and they're like, 2 of you will get a text message and 1 of you won't.
And I was the girl who's sitting there knowing, okay, cool, I didn't get the text, and they filmed it.
Yes. So
TV was better back then.
Yeah. Well,
At my
worse.
expense.
So, and Ashley, stop me anytime I'm wrong.
No.
But I
go ahead.
think Ashley was at this point where it was like, okay, I've got to do it now or I'm never going to do it.
Yeah.
And Ashley...
Or I'm quitting.
Or I'm quitting. And so Ashley said, I'm going to give it my all and I'm going to, make this one big move and let's just see how it goes. And Ashley moves across country to work with the former coach of Sasha Cohen, John Nix. And there's just something where it like gives Ashley this like little boost. She works with Philip Mills on her choreography and like the programs are just like tidied up. This skating and who Ashley is showing up as at these events is like spick and span, clean as a whistle. Like it's just like she can't set a foot wrong. And this like reliable skater we knew is now like refining herself. And we see like glimpses of this like throughout the Grand Prix where it's like she's just skating clean every time she goes out. And she has this Swan Lake program because the Black Swan was just out and everybody's talking about the arms that she's doing in the spiral sequence. So she has this like really like iconic and like fun program. But the thing is that like Ashley's like so polished and she's so like... she's stepping into like what is that like perfect American woman skater who is like the representative, and it's like will this be her time? And I think if I remember correctly it was like I'm either gonna win this national title or I'm done.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to skate anymore.
Right.
And I I had 1 more year of funds left to make it happen, and I basically at the start of the year said, if I don't make it happen and stand on top of the podium, it's time to accept that like I will always be third place is good enough, and that's it.
And so the door is open for Ashley to maybe win a national title. And she goes out and she skates this really strong free skate. Not perfect, really strong. And we have to wait. But at the end of the night, Ashley wins her first national title, 2012. And there's just something about this that like completely changes the mindset that I think Ashley had about herself. And the way that she saw herself as a competitor, I don't think she saw herself as like she's right in front of me. I'm speaking to the listeners.
Honestly, I feel this is not a lot of people get to be described. I feel like I'm at my own funeral right now, and I'm listening to someone I'm like trying to busy myself. My hair is in the most intricate braid.
Yeah, it's
I
like
have
a Viking,
ever done right now.
yeah, Viking braids.
It's in a fish braid.
So now what also is that, like, you know, I think Ashley's just like coming into her own of like, oh shit, like I actually did what I wanted to do, and like everything's like coming together to the point where we go to the Four Continents Championships. And I remember like Ashley was we used to have this like inside joke of that, like Ashley used to do LBL, which would be lap backspin long program.
I forgot about
Yeah, and that's how Ashley told me. She was like, that's how I train. And sometimes like I'll do that, and if it's clean, I'll like go home. I'm like, what? You'll train
You're
for
like,
10
no
minutes?
wonder it took you 25 years to become a national champion.
Yeah, I'm like, no wonder. So she wasn't doing that with Mr. Nix.
No, it was not.
And but you know, there was one practice, and it was like, you know, she either was going to do it or she wasn't. It was like unnecessary for her to do it. But I remember that like you could tell Ashley was like beginning to like really feel confident in herself, because Mr. Nix was like, show up 15 minutes late, because her music was going to get played last on this practice. And as a flex, Mr. Nix had her basically go and said, do a lap, do a backspin, and do your long program. And on a competition practice, this is scary. At home, it's insane that's the girl. She puts her Ugg boots on and she goes right back to her apartment. That's crazy. But in a competition setting, it's like there's no work to be done. It's mind games.
Yeah.
She goes, and it's like, holy, like Ashley is completely in a different field. Now, Mao Asada at this point had like left Tarasova and decided that she's going to fully commit to like being in Japan, and starts working with the Sato family. And when she talks about working with the Satos, she talks about like breaking down her technique and rebuilding from the very beginning. And this is like where Mao Asada is in like her career. Like she's trying to reinvent herself. The programs are like very Mao Asada again. They're light, they're airy, and it's Mao fucking Asada. And she goes out and she skates great at the Four Continents. But Ashley goes out and she just skates the clean long program that I'm sure she was hoping to do at Nationals. And she gets off the ice, and it's like, holy shit. Ashley Wagner just beat Mao fucking Asada. And Ashley Wagner wins the Four Continents Championships.
And never goes back. Undefeated to this day.
Yes, you are. And so this is like really, I think like this is the title that like pushes Ashley to be recognized on an international scene of like, oh, she's one to be taken seriously. Because she goes to the World Championships. I'm trying to find the balance of you and she. Like you go or she goes. I'm sticking with she as like funeral.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead.
So World Championships, good short program, but great free skate. Do you get third in that free skate?
Third in the free skate.
Yeah.
I loved a small medal at
You
the World
did,
Championships.
yes. You loved a small world free skate medal specifically.
World never
Never a short program. No.
And
Absolutely
so
not.
It's what's exciting at this World Championships is that like Ashley is like stepping into being like the number one American lady. And after having some time where it's like Americans were so dominant, and now the American women are like trying to find their footing again, it looks like Ashley's going to like step into that role. And another exciting thing at this championships is that Carolina Kostner wins her first world title.
Ooh, she was so good.
And she was
Her only, I think, right?
You could also say that was her first.
Her first and only.
No, I wasn't. Thank you. Wasn't saying that
It
was
was
wrong.
her only,
I was
yes.
just double checking.
It's her only world title. And so what's exciting and what's not so exciting at this time is that like we also on the scene have this junior skater who has the name. And she's
Oh
got
my God,
the
does
jumps.
she have the name?
Gracie Gold. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
I don't think anyone ever will beat the name.
No.
The
And
alliteration, and then on top of that, gold?
yeah.
No, you can't beat it.
Now, the big thing about this is that the big thing that the women are going to need is a triple. Everybody's talking about it. Can they do a triple? What about their triple? Are they going to do a triple in the long program and the short program? People only care about a triple.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when Gracie Gold does a triple in junior, it looks like she's getting shot out of a motherfucking cannon.
Yeah, it does.
Huge.
It's enormous. And so 2012 was actually a year of World Team Trophy. And like I said, Ashley has just now really established herself. I think you finished 4th at that World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the podium, fresh national champion. And we go into the World Team Trophy, and U.S. Figure Skating makes a really unprecedented move. And they decide that the second woman on this World Team Trophy team is going to be their junior national champion, Gracie Gold.
They were so all in.
They were
so
all
early.
in.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
And so this begins like the rivalry of Ashley Wagner and Gracie Gold, the great American dynasty. Ashley, I think you beat Gracie at this like competition.
I did.
So it's like, Gracie didn't even have senior programs, but
No,
like yes, figure
this
skating
was her first time at a senior
competition.
It's sort of a
event.
crazy thing to do to her.
No, it's an
Right,
insane thing.
I mean, it was an opportunity, like nothing for her to lose, right? Like just opportunity for her.
Yeah.
I guess. I just think of it in the same... I think of it in the pressure bucket more than I think of it in the opportunity bucket.
But that girl, like, is a shark.
You're both sharks.
No,
It's
but
two
when I
sharks.
say shark, it's.
And I mean, she's like a gutsy
a compliment.
competitor. And
Yeah,
she's
it's a
like,
compliment.
and what's so exciting about this rivalry, it's like these two girls are like, they're both headstrong. This is not Michelle Kwan and Sasha Cohen and they tiptoe around answers. This is like, they don't like each other, but they respect each other.
She made me such a good competitor.
Of
and
course.
I would be a fucking idiot to discredit what she did to my career because without her, I wouldn't have been me.
Listen, I know that like there's like two sides to every story. That like this for Ashley feels like, okay, U.S. figure skating, I'm the national champion, and now you're bringing in this junior hotshot. Ashley feels.
Oh, I felt like the second that she came onto the scene, U.S. figure skating was just waiting for like their opportunity to elevate her. But I think you put it perfectly to me once, kind of explaining the position we both were in. I think we both saw it as I had what she wanted and she had what I wanted.
Yes.
And we always saw it that way.
Yes, because I mean, the thing is they threw her to you to challenge her, and they threw, you to her to challenge her. Like it was, you both exactly like you had a quality that she didn't have, and she had like these jumps that they were like wild.
That I
about.
did. Let me tell you, I did not have. Those jumps were insane.
They were huge. And so, but like, listen, she's still a junior skater, but she has a ton of potential. She's never been in senior before. But like the next season will be her senior debut. And so she goes, and it's like, whatever. But Ashley's next season is like, Ashley is like killing it, winning Grand Prix, medaling at the Grand Prix final. And then we get to the U.S. National Championships, and Ashley wins her second national title. But what everybody is talking about is Ashley Wagner, like she's going to win a world medal, but we could have two women on that world podium because Gracie Gold won the free skate at the 2013 U.S. Nationals. But Gracie's biggest problem has been like inconsistencies. She's going to do a fall in the short program and then come back in the long program, or she's going to fall in the long program. It's just like, it's very inconsistent. You're not getting reliable Wagner, but there is still all of this, like she has all of this like potential. And so there's this like rivalry, like back and forth. And it's just like the next part of this is that like these two women are like both trying to be like the perfect American skater in that in that mold of like, you know, I'm the all-American girl. And when you're Ashley Wagner, it's really hard to beat the like beautiful blonde.
Oh my God,
girl
she
with
looks
the
like
big
Grace
jumps.
Kelly. She's truly stunning. Perfect name. She's working with Frank Carroll. It's like the ultimate recipe for this is what you want an American figure skater to be.
And I'll even go further that like as we get into like the 2014 Olympics, that this is really where like there's a line in the sand of like this is our cookie cutter girl and this is like our not cookie cutter girl. The Olympics were in Sochi, Russia, and in the lead up, Russia came out that they were making gay propaganda illegal. And there's this like media summit that athletes will do before they, you know, before like the season starts. And it's like you'll get a lot of like the pictures done and a lot of like the NBC footage and, you know, things like that. And there's a ton of like interviews that you can do at these like different things too. And so you're trying to get good quotes out of the athletes. And all of these journalists are asking all of these athletes, every single athlete that's there from all different sports, what is your opinion on the anti-gay propaganda law? And every athlete says basically like, listen, it's their thing. I want to be respectful of like the country I'm going to and like whatever. Except for two athletes, Bodie Miller and Ashley Wagner. And Ashley Wagner goes out and she says, without missing a beat, I don't agree with it. I don't believe in that. I think it's wrong. And she so, with her full chest, says this to the media and is immediately like target on back of like, whoa. Athletes do sports. They don't talk about politics. Because
Tale
there's
as old as time.
never been a figure skater, and there's been very few Olympians who have ever talked about politics. It's this unsung.
You don't do it.
You don't do it.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. The Olympics are not about politics, quote unquote. They're all about politics. But they're not about, like, it should be completely separate.
I got off of that panel, by the way, and the publicist that a lot of the athletes that we're working with at the time runs up to me and she's like, don't worry, we can fix this. And I will never
And you're like, fix what?
And I looked at her and was like, fix what? And it was like a crisis.
Like, I can't even begin to, like, tell you, like, how against the grain that what Ashley did, like, was. And, like, we can fix this is, like, I absolutely, like, can see, I can close my eyes, I can envision that entire scenario happening because, like, you're not supposed to talk about politics. And Ashley didn't miss a beat. She didn't even think about it. She just said it. She said what she was thinking. And she was like, these people are crazy for not saying exactly what I'm saying because they all think the same thing. But nobody's saying anything. And it just was like, we were taught to, like, don't ruffle any feathers.
Well, shut up and skate.
Shut up and skate. And so this is like, I just, like, want to share that because it's so important that, like, you're the first skater that I can't think of any other elite skater who ever brought up politics and it was, I can't tell you how inspiring it was for me because I remember that, like, I was asked about it and I had, like, recently, like, in those years prior, like, had just come out and was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it's not your job. Like, that was my thing is I'm sitting up
You're
there
right,
on
it's
a panel
your
of people
job
who
and
were
Bodie
actively
Miller's
gay.
job.
As a hag, it's my job to sit up there along with Daddy Miller and stand up for gay rights.
But I'll tell you that, like, I'm sure I've said this to your face. Now I'll say it to your face, and I'll say it even. I'll repeat it to your behind your back. That, like, the way that you acted, and like, I eventually don't make that Olympic team, and you go on. And the reason I like keep going and like decide to like keep pushing myself is because I want to redo things I wish I had done differently. Like, of course, I wish I like skated and I wasn't afraid, and this and that. And one of the things was like, I wish that like when somebody asked me that question in 2014, I gave them the honest answer. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that all the time. I thought about it every day of how like fearless you were in like that moment. And it changed my whole life. It changed my life. And I think that like it's so easy to forget like that small moment that you had at that media summit of like, I mean, you changed the trajectory of my life, because if people found me annoying in 2018, I am the brainchild of a political Ashley Wagner. It's the reason I had any confidence to like even do it. It's the reason that like I regretted not saying something.
Oh, well, thank you. You're making me cry. No, it's cool to hear. I think my career has been something that I'm really proud of, but the like advocacy that I was so passionate about, I don't think I fully realized at the time that opening my mouth would put the target on my back that it did. And it followed me for so much of my career. And for some reason that translated into, you know, so many other things later on down the road, being called a bitch, being all these things that just kind of followed me. And I do think that it stemmed from being an athlete who would really open up their mouth. But I think at the same time, we're a product of the system we grew up in, and we weren't really taught that we could have an opinion. So,
but I just think it's so important to just like in this lore, just mention that like you are the first political skater that like I've ever seen anybody like. It's really worth noting, because I also think that like it gives Ashley like a reputation of like, we don't know what she's gonna say, like she's wild, which she is.
And I mean, that's sort of true.
It's so wild. Gay people should have rights. Oh my God.
It is wild to think that gay people should have rights. So that's our beginning of like the Gold Wagner kind of rivalry of like where they stand. We're gonna get more into that in part 4. So what's exciting about like the end of this like part 3 lore is that we're gonna see and we're gonna talk about a character who will show up very predominantly in part 4. But before we even get there, what we have to get to is the 2013 World Championships, where Yuna Kim has taken that entire season before off, but she shows up in this like pre-Olympic World Championship year, and it's like, damn, she's not only back, she seems more solid than she ever was. She went back to Korea and started working with her like childhood coaches, and she continued to work with David Wilson. And when she shows up to this World Championships in London, Ontario, it's like, oh my God. And on that podium is Yuna Kim, Karolina Kostner, and Mao Asada back on the world's podium. So now as we head into the Olympic Games, it's like, okay, we have not seen a reigning Olympic champion try to regain their title since Katarina Witt. What's going to happen? Like, what is going to happen here? Because in the team event, there was this like little Russian phenom. Her name was Yulia Lipnitskaya, and she was coached by, get ready, hear this name, Eteri Tutberidze.
I heard it. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So she's coached by this like young Russian coach. And in this team event, she's getting these scores that are like crazy. She's doing both the short and the free skate, and she gets these insane scores. She has crazy, awful jump technique,
But amazing
she
spins.
like a
Amazing.
top.
Yeah.
And it's Russia. There's like nothing you can do.
Right.
And she goes out and she skates these like absolutely like these stellar clean programs, and it's like, okay, I think Yulia Lipnitskaya is going to win the individual event. It just seems that way.
It was so clear.
It was so clear. And so as we get into the event, I remember like the NBC shows the broadcast, and it's like Yuna Kim is skating quite early in the event because she has like she had a whole season where she didn't have any world's points, and like her ranking was low because she only had won the world title. Like that was her only big international competition. No Grand Prix, no Four Continents, nothing. So she's skating early on, and the first thing they show is she does a big old singlet. She skates over to the wall, puts both arms on the boards, and takes a big deep breath out. And I'm going, oh God, what is this going to be like? And she skates this short program, and it's like she'd never left Vancouver.
Yeah.
Like it's Send in the Clowns. It's just, oh my God, it's masterful. You can hear a pin drop. And she comes away and she's leading after the short program. And Carolina Kostner has had like so many like ups and downs in her career. But you know, she was a heavy favorite for a medal in Torino, and we never like finished up there, but she gets to Torino and she's just kind of a mess. And after she was back on the world's podium in 2008, when she shows up in 2009 at the Worlds, she loses a spot for Italy, and they only have one female Olympic spot, you know, going into Vancouver. So she's been like up and down, and she finally skates that like perfect short program that we know she can do at the Olympic Games. Yulia Lipnitskaya goes out, the favorite for gold now, and she has this like uncharacteristic fall. And it's uncharacteristic because the only other time we have to base it off of is when she was completely clean in the team event. And so she falls. But there's another Russian skater who's always been like on the brink and always kind of like around and a lot of potential, but like absolutely was on nobody's mind to be in the medal mix.
No.
But she has an Olympic short program, and she has big jumps, and she has beautiful spirals, and like she just was not the favorite. It was Yulia who was the favorite. And she goes out and she has like the short program of her life, and she very respectably and like honestly gets third place in this short program. And it feels like, okay, listen, if Yuna Kim skates clean, like you can't beat her.
Well,
right? Like
and what's going on with the Americans? Because we haven't talked about them in the Olympic season.
So in this like Olympic season, Ashley and Gracie have just like competed in the team event. They've like won a bronze medal for the United States. Ashley comes out at the last second. Ashley needs to get a certain place in the short program for Team USA to even advance to the free skate. Then in the free skate, Gracie Gold skates the free skate, and she skates this like amazing. Perfect. And it's just like, I mean, it's like the best, one of Gracie's like best skates like
This
ever.
is some of Gracie's like best content.
Yes. And then like, you know, Taylor
Sleeping
Swift
Beauty,
is
right?
on Twitter. Yes, Sleeping Beauty. Taylor Swift is on Twitter and is like, who's this like beautiful red-lipped girl? And like, I want to be friends with her. Like, it's just like Gracie is like,
Forgot about that.
having a moment. Yeah. No, don't forget.
Wait, this is where the kiss and cry face comes from, right?
The bullshit. That was
Yeah.
my short program scores. So
Yeah.
I skated a better program in the individual event. Not that my short program was bad in the team event, but the program itself was just better, and my scores were lower in the individual event than they were in the team event, I believe, or something to that degree. And that's where
Ashley,
the bullshit face comes from.
Says bullshit.
Where you can pretty easily read her lips.
Yeah.
And
She's playing cards. She's in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. And I stand by it to this day.
So our American women are like skating well, like both in the top 10. And Gracie is definitely getting like the American like push.
Yeah.
And she's skating great. Like she's skating well.
She had won nationals going in, right? So
yes.
Hence the push.
Yes. So she had won nationals.
I had content this season that just wasn't working for me. I had a like mid-season program change. Gracie came prepared this season with like 2 of the best pieces she could possibly have.
She started working with Frank Carroll towards the end of this Olympic season, and Frank was like, "You need a new short program," and made her go to Lori Nickel, and this like new short program in the red dress is like what changed the way that we saw Gracie. Like Gracie was
she
now
all of a sudden
packaged,
was like refined.
yes, she was a packaged like Frank
Princess.
Carroll skater, and we're gonna get more into like the Ashley Gracie in part 4. Because we need to finish this. We have to live our lives. So
it's 12. It's almost 12 a.m.
Yeah.
Ashley did live this life.
Yes.
I'm
we have to
reliving.
live them. Yes. So then we go. And Adelina Sotnikova, the 3rd Russian, she goes out and she skates a nice program, like a good, and she's crying and she's having the best time of her life, and her armpits are a little bloody because it looks like she nicked herself when she was shaving.
You would not let go of the bloody
I'll
armpits
never
on
let
Twitter.
it go. No, I'll never let it go. And she's wearing gloves too, like mesh gloves. But she's like, she's a darling girl. And
True,
she has
darling
like,
girl.
Yeah, like such a sweet girl. And she has this like amazing like moment in Russia, and it's like amazing, and it's like that's amazing, like she's going to get a medal. Well, then Karolina Kostner goes out and she skates like a Karolina Kostner perfection free skate, and you're like there's no way. Behind Sotnikova. Now the final skater of the night, Yuna Kim. In first place after the short program and the reigning Olympic champion. And she's skating a free skate that's a tango. And she skates, and it's just a masterclass. Does it have the same energy and effervescence that her Vancouver skate has? No, it doesn't. She's not in control of the arena in the same way that she was in Vancouver. But in Vancouver, that was a lightning in a bottle moment. But in Sochi, she's got grit to her. And there's like a performance quality that's just, you can't beat. This is like performing at the highest of levels. And she goes out and it's like, oh my God, there's absolutely no way that Yuna Kim will not be the Olympic champion. Says me. There's a few Russian judges who had something else to say. Because the marks come in, and Yuna can see that she's in second place, and she gives a little chuckle. And Adelina Sotnikova is the winner of the Olympic Games. Very controversial winner. Very nice girl, but very
but also
controversial
notice,
winner.
Adam, you're so thorough with the lore. You have not mentioned Sotnikova until now.
Exactly. She was always like in there in a top 10 field. Maybe not on a
like never of like.
Had she done
high
anything like
notes.
in this current season leading up, like on the Grand Prix?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think we were at
No.
Trophy Eric Bompard together, and she was
She was
third.
just there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, she was like kind of like there in the mix. But it's like she if she was skating well, she potentially could have like absolutely like been on podiums. But she was inconsistent. So she's the Olympic champion, obviously not without controversy. There's an uproar from the Korean media that like this is not right, it's not fair. I mean, I believe that the podium should have been Yuna Kim, Karolina Kostner, Adelina Sotnikova. Because Sotnikova is not clean either. Like she does like a little tap dance out of like a cheated double loop that they just call clean.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, you know, it is what it is. It's Russia, whatever. They get their medals, like whatever.
She comes off the ice and goes and hugs a Russian judge.
Yes.
Or
wife.
When the event is over, one of the Russian judges on the panel goes over to Adelina and with her big old fake ponytail and gives, not Adelina, the judge.
The
goes
judge
over
has
to
the big
Adelina.
old fake ponytail. Yes.
And gives her a big hug, Congratulations. She's obviously like it's an amazing moment for her, right? Like, of course.
Yeah, but it's a bad look.
It's
a bad look. Yeah.
Because eventually what we'll find out, because we'll get to this in part 4, but what we'll find out is that, like, obviously Sochi is the great Russian doping scandal. And her name is on, she's on this evidence disclosure package published to the World Anti-Doping Agency, which was like the commissioned McLaren report. And she's one of the athletes where it's shown that they tampered with her sample. And when they talk about the Kamila Valieva, who she has like the famous positive test from the Beijing Games, where they talk about, no, this is crazy.
No, I know.
They talk about they should test the B sample. Nikova comes out and says they absolutely should test Camilla's B sample because my A sample at the Olympics in Sochi came back positive. But then they tested the B sample and it was negative.
And everyone's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Now, not to hit a girl when she's down, but after this competition, just to kind of finish up this lore part 3, Karolina Kostner will continue to skate into our next part. This is the last competition that Yuna Kim will skate in, but she, in her time off, was a huge advocate and a huge reason why Korea would get the Olympic Games in 2018. And she'll go on to light the Olympic flame in the opening ceremonies. She's like, now she's married, and Karolina Kostner is like one of the coaches of Yuma Kageyama. And Adelina Sotnikova in January 7th, 2020, Adelina Sotnikova reportedly paid a total of 2 million rubles, which is the equivalent to $32,000, to a fortune teller on Instagram, hoping that, quote, issues in her personal life would be solved.
Stop. Wow, that's almost as much as you'd have to pay for 3 weeks of training from Tatiana Tarasova.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper to get scammed by a fortune teller who's believed to have fled to Ukraine than it is to work for Tatiana Tarasova for 3 weeks.
If that happened to me, I would let no one know.
Oh, absolutely.
I would suffer in silence.
Yeah, it feels like something where she told a friend and got betrayed.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, the end of this article says, and I think this is a beautiful way to end part 3. 2 people linked to the scam have now been detained, but the quote-unquote fortune teller remains at large.
At large.
And many of these women skaters remain at large into part 4. So
yes,
we'll be back with their stories.
Right. Well, just 3.5 hours later. Thank you all for joining us for Women's Part.
3.5 hours.
Well, I had
$32,000 later.
Yeah.
And for Shizuka Arakawa, $34,000.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, wow, 3 Olympic quads.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you, Adam.
Takes a minute.
Oh, thank you. Actually, there's one more thing that we need to talk about before we end this lore episode, and that is Mao Asada. If we're going to talk about Sochi, we have to talk about Mao Asada. And she's been such a big part of this part 3 of the women's lore series that you might be wondering, hey, she was on the Olympic podium in 2010. She was on the world's podium right before this Olympics. What happens here in Sochi? Well, in the short program, she struggles, and immediately she's right out of the medal mix. But in the free skate, she delivers one of the greatest Olympic free skates of all time. And it would be absolutely criminal if we didn't mention her 2014 women's free skate from the Olympics in Sochi. Go watch it. It's on the watch list. One of the most iconic Olympic free skates of all time. She doesn't end up on the podium, but this still, for me, it does not take away from how iconic and incredible this skate is. And I actually think that is the perfect way to end part 3 of the women's lore.
Proud of
We'll
you.
see you in part 4, where there's more Ashley where that came from.
Bye.
Bye.